Mr. Josh, Monday, I believe you need no introduction after our first episode. Guys, if you haven't watched our first episode, please find the link in the description below. Thank you for driving for 2 hours just to make this happen. Friday, 9 a.m., you're here, and we're going to talk a lot about the secret societies. Not fraternities, but high school secret societies, college secret societies, right? 3 to 2, Skull and Bones, all that stuff.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So we'll be getting into secret societies in high school and then college, but only the ones that are on the same level as like Skull and Bones. I'm not trying to go through like fraternities or those. It's more of secret societies that are actually on that level, you know. And for me, these secret societies, they have like the cream of the crop for that senior graduating class, right? So they're going to have military, they're going to have diplomats, princes, kings, presidents, former Olympians, actors, actresses, CEOs, journalists, financiers, professional sports players, Supreme Court judges, politicians. I mean, you name it. They're going to have, the financiers would be the ones that are over the banks, over the money, the wealth, the stocks, the bonds. The politicians obviously have the ability to change federal law, local level, and control laws. The professional sports players obviously are more, I believe, like a distraction for people to watch. And then the presidents, they control obviously the laws and then decide whether we go to war or not. The journalists, as you probably have gone over a lot, I think a lot of the stories are fabricated, manipulated to control the agenda. And then the actors, I think they're there for the idol worship and things like that, you know. But I believe they all swore oaths, you know, like to join these secret societies. And from a spiritual standpoint, I would say that the way that you could, and maybe sell your soul, like some people would say, I believe that can happen by blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, or also by taking like the mark of the beast, right? So the Bible says that whoever takes the mark of the beast is erased out of the book of life, right? So that's a theory.
Or blessing of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and that's a theory, obviously. I'm not trying to say that's 100% correct. And like me and you were talking about earlier, Apollo, there's certain things in the conspiracy realm that we're at the helm of what we can research and what we can know. When it comes to the Bible, like when I did the last episode, I'm speaking from the Bible, which I believe is the absolute truth. When I speak about these secret societies, I do have receipts for them actually being part of these secret societies or part of these college and high school fraternities, or I'm sorry, the high school secret societies. But I don't have. I can't tell you that every single thing that I'm going to go over today is going to be 100% fact, because I'm at the helm of what I can research, if that makes sense.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So, So what I'll do is I'll go over a few Bible verses, because what I like to always do is I always like to bring people back to the Bible first. That way they know why they shouldn't join the secret societies in case they've ever been asked or approached to. There's a few different things I can go over, like this one's going to be about money. The first one I'm going to go over is going to be Matthew 6:24. And what it says is, no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. And mammon is, it's not a person or a god. It's like an Aramaic word that's used for material wealth or possession. So it's what he's saying is you can't serve God and also serve material possessions, right? So instead of placing your trust in money and material wealth, you should place your trust in God, is basically what it's saying, right? And I do believe that these secret societies, one of the ways that they would entice you would be to get you to, for power, for money, for wealth, right? So what that's saying here is, instead of replacing God with materialistic items, then you should be worshiping God instead, right?
Or women.
Or women, yeah, that's a big one. Women, or even some of them are really weird, where they don't even like women. They like maybe girls or
boys.
Little girls or little boys, right? So probably a way that they'd be able to feed that. So we have also another Bible verse would be James 5:12, and in this verse it says, "But above all, my brethren, do not swear neither by heaven or by earth or by any other oath, but let your yes be yes and let your no be no, lest you fall into judgment." Now, James is actually Jesus's brother, right? So I would
Hello, Catholics.
Yes. So James is Jesus's brother, right? So I would take this as I would take the whole Bible as in any way, but also James was very close to Jesus. So this is something that he says, and then also something that Jesus also talks about too, about oaths. So we have James saying that, and then we also have Jesus in Matthew 5:33 through 37. He says, again, you have heard it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but you shall perform your oaths to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Nor shall you swear by your head, because you cannot make one hair white or black. Nor let your yes be yes, your no be no, for whatever is more than these is from the evil one. So what he's saying is, these oaths are from the devil. Anything that you do with God is with God, but any other oaths are from the devil, right? So the reason why I bring that up is because with these high school and secret societies, now the high school ones, I can't really prove if they have any oaths or anything like that, but the college ones that we're going to get into, like the Skull and Bones, we'll see certain rituals that they do that I would say 100% are obviously not Christian, but it's like they're going into rituals and oaths that they're swearing by, which Jesus particularly says that if it's not from God, then obviously it's from the evil one, meaning it's from the devil, right? So that'd be kind of my proof text there. So any questions on anything I've gone over so far?
No.
No? Okay. So I always like to ask that just in case. So the first thing we're going to get into is going to be the high school secret societies, right? And before I get into that, from a Christian perspective, I would say this. So I have never walked a mile in like a rich kid's shoes. I don't know how it is to I don't know the pressures of impressing your parents, living up to their expectations at a top Ivy League school, trying to fit in with other elite kids. I don't know how that is, right? So I don't know what they go through, the pressures, and also who's pushing them to do these certain things, to join these secret societies. I don't know. So all we could do from a Christian standpoint is just pray for them, and obviously study and find out what they're actually doing, like I'm going to be doing. But I would say to pray for them, because I don't know what kind of pressures that they're feeling, right, when they're at the time of them joining, or who's pushing them to do that, right?
And there's a certain percentage of those kids, those children that have been born into the secret society members, mom or dad or both of them. Yeah.
And they're expected to
join the same.
Yeah. If not, they're going to be losing. They're probably get kicked out of the family, or they're going to lose a lot of money or assets or things that they would probably get for being in the family. So there's 8 preparatory schools that I've kind of found in high school. Not saying that these are the only 8, but I'm just going to focus on these just because I can't go over. I don't have 7-hour shows, so I'm focused on these 8 because these 8, I found secret societies that are actually in these 8. So I'm going to go over these real quick. I'm going to name them off so that people that want to do deeper research can look into them as well. So one of them's in Wallingford, Connecticut. It was established in 1890. It's Choate Rosemary Hall. That's one of them. The next one is Deerfield Academy. That's in Deerfield, Massachusetts. And then we have the Hotchkiss School, which is in Lakeville, Connecticut. Then we have the Lawrence School, which is in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Then we have Northfield Mount Hermon School, which is Gill, Massachusetts. And then we have Phillips Academy, Andover, which is in Andover, Massachusetts. And then we have Phillips Exeter Academy, which is in Exeter, New Hampshire. And then we have St. Paul's School, which is Concord, New Hampshire. Okay, so
all of them in the east.
Yeah, all of them located, if you look on a map, in the east. Yes,
Northeast.
Right there where Harvard, Yale, and all those main schools are like the Ivy League schools are located, right? So we have the reason why I bring up those is because it's actually sectioned off. If you look it up, it says 8 schools. It's the ESA. It's a group of large private college preparatory schools, and they're actually formed like that. So I'm not the one that formed them like this, but if you look it up, that's how they're formed. They're all together. So and I looked up high school secret societies to see like where is there any, first of all, because I never knew when I was researching this that there's any high school secret societies ever. I would just think, I heard about Skull and Bones, right? That's the first one I heard about. And I was like, okay, well, let me just dig a little deeper. Is there other ones that are like Skull and Bones? And then I found out that there's a lot, okay? I mean, there's a lot that are like that, where they're sworn to secrecy. There's 15 members of the senior society that get tapped, and they're tapped by the previous, senior society. They'll end up tapping the juniors, letting them know the next year they're going to be part of it. and they're all sworn to secrecy. They all joined by oaths, and I was really surprised by that, and I'm really intrigued by it because this is kind of like when you're researching like black nobility or something like that. What happens is you just keep pulling more and more information out, and it's hard to condense it into a show, but I'm going to try to do that for you guys today. But so as far as the high school secret society, one that I found is going to be Phillips Exeter Academy, which is the one that I spoke about. That's located in Andover, Massachusetts. And this school actually started in 1778. So we were formed, in 1776, right? So 2 years after we were formed as a nation. So the one of the secret societies that they have, it says it's been home to several secret societies. Notable societies include the Golden Branch Literary Society, which was founded in 1818, Phi Kappa Delta, which emerged around 1870. Members of the faculty expressed concern over disregard, so they thought it was potentially harmful, so they tried to ban it in 1891. But then it got reestablished in 1942. So there's a few there. And then it says many secret societies have existed at Phillips Academy, which is another one that I went over, which is Phillips Academy is located in Andover, Massachusetts, right? And then in Phillips Academy, we have Brothers of the Cordus Unis Veritas, which has well-known members such as George H.W. Bush Sr. and Godfrey A. Rockefeller, right? Also, George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. are also part of it's called the KEP Skull and Wreath. And the interesting thing about that is I've done like maybe 4 or 5 shows on this, right? Where I've been on some pretty big shows. And I used to be able to find that secret society, which is the Skull and Wreath, and find out all the notable members. And not saying that they listened to that show or something, but I cannot find it anymore. But I had it all figured out and all put together for these different shows, and I can't find the Skull and Wreath anymore. I can find the Brothers of Cordus Unis Veritas. I can find that one where George W. Bush was in that one, but the Skull and Wreath one, for some reason, I can't pull it up anymore. It's really weird. So,
and what is the official narrative or the official purpose of the secret society?
The official purpose, I believe, the official.
No.
Purpose,
What do they say?
What do they say? The official. Well, I don't know what they say though. Like the reason for it. Like, are you talking about like what does like the college say?
Yeah. What's the purpose?
Well, they try to act like it's like a debate. Like back in the day when they first started the secret societies, they acted like it was just like a debate forum where people would meet and they would debate over different ideas, kind of like a think tank, like similar to what like the Trilateral Commission would be, or the CFR. Which is Council on Foreign Relations. They call it a think tank, which doesn't, it sounds very like, doesn't sound very aggressive for people to hear that. Like a think tank, oh, that's just people coming up with ideas. But that's what they kind of said it was at first. And when I get into the Skull and Bones section, which is going to be next, I'll kind of go over what it started as, and then what it kind of became. So we'll go over that. So, all right. So those are ones that I have. Okay. So there's not going to be a whole, like a huge list of people that are in these secret societies in high school because there's not a whole bunch on it. But I do have George Bush Sr. being in one, Godfrey A. Rockefeller being in one, and also George Bush Jr., which ended up, obviously George Bush Sr., he ended up being in the Skull and Bones. And then we have George Bush Jr., which was also a Skull and Bones member, right? And then also a Rockefeller, which is one of the bloodlines of the Illuminati, is what some people would say. There's like, in America, there's like 13 bloodlines. They would be one of those bloodlines of Rockefellers, right? So we have that, right? So, and at Phillips Academy and these 8 high schools that I was talking about, we have people like George Bush going, obviously you know that, and then George W. Bush. We have Humphrey Bogart, which is a big actor that everybody knows about. We have Jack Lemmon. We have Bill Belichick, who is actually the coach of the Patriots. They got 7 Super Bowl rings, I believe, under him.
The best of all, right?
We have, yeah. And then we have Lachlan Murdoch, which is like he's a British-born Australian-American businessman, mass media heir, tycoon. He is the chairman of CEO of Fox Corporation.
He's the son of Rupert.
3.2, of Rupert. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 3.2 billion as a publisher in Financial Review. And I could go on and on literally of people that have been in these 8 high schools. We also have Mark Zuckerberg is another one, the creator of Facebook, which I've heard people say that he just came out randomly and just started this company, right? So he was part of these 8 high schools, and and then also Andrew Wang, he's another one. He's someone that was going against. He ran for president.
The socials guy.
Yeah, he was supposed to go against. He was supposed to go against Donald Trump, but then obviously he didn't get picked for the primary election. So him, and I mean, I can name a lot. So I could do a couple that we can go over them. So the reason why what happens is I get lost in the weeds if I just start naming all these different people, because a lot of people might not know them, but we do have, actually just say John F. Kennedy Jr., the son of John F. Kennedy, is one. We also have like a lot of people that are in media, like we have Elizabeth Stewart Phelps, an early feminist social reformer, Jonathan Alter, journalist for Newsweek, Julia Alvarez, writer and poet. We have John Brennan, who's an anchor for CNN, Pete Carey, CFO for Netscape, Hall of Fame baseball player Stephen Clark. There's just a whole list of people that went to these high schools. Now, that's not like a big proof of them being in secret societies and anything crazy, but what it is a proof of is that these 8 high schools are holding a bunch of different people, generals of war, diplomats, all these different people that I can name. So it's just really interesting. Once we get into, and then there's one more thing that I wanted to bring up, which I think that your audience would kind of like, is I heard, is it Bishop John Wick? Is that who was on your show?
Yeah, Larry Gators.
Is it Larry Gators? That's okay.
That's his real name.
Oh, that's his. Okay, I know who he is then. Okay. I know him by Larry Gators, but Bishop John Wick is what he is on Instagram.
Yes.
So Larry Gators. So he was talking about the Boule Society, right? So he was talking about that LeBron James is part of the Boule Society. He has it on his chest.
Yes.
So the founder of the Boule Society, he went to Phillips Exeter Academy, and the gentleman's name is Henry McKee Minton. He's the founder of the Boule Society, and he is also known as the Boule, founded in 1904, the oldest fraternity for African Americans among these named Greek letters. And there's a ton of people. If you go, you can look it up, and you can see the members of this is not talking about people that are in high school or college. Secret societies, the Boule Society is actually for people out of college, So, but I thought it was interesting to find the actual founder going to Phillips Exeter Academy of the Boule Society, which is something that for African Americans, that's a huge society to be in, right? That there's a lot of people on the list that are in that society that would kind of would surprise people. Like the guy that was the Secretary of War for Biden, Joe Biden, that gentleman, African American gentleman, he was part of that society. I could pull up their members if you want. But mainly, I just want to go over that part and let you know.
Guys, the question for you is, what are the odds, right? What are the chances of all them being a member of some kind of a secret society or a group of people?
Yes. So then we're going to go to page 3. So on page 3, I have the Yale University. Okay. So now we're going to get into Skull and Bones. Now, Skull and Bones is one of the ones that everybody knows about, right? That they're very interested in. So that's why I kind of wanted to focus a lot on Skull and Bones, but I will go to different college secret societies as well as we talk, but we'll start with Skull and Bones. So the Skull and Bones was actually, the way it got started was a secret society called Phi Beta Kappa, right? And actually the Freemasons started them. And this is a secret society that spanned out to different universities. It wasn't just in Yale, but it was at different universities at that time, right? And they were founded in the early 1800s, which obviously we're right there in that same section of when... because Skull and Bones is like 1840. This one was before that, right? In the early 1800s, right? So before the Skull and Bones secret society, they had Phi Beta Kappa in the early 1800s. They went from like sworn secrecy to them to kind of being to open membership. And the people that were in Phi Beta Kappa didn't want that. So what they did is there was a dispute between Yale debating societies, the Brothers of Unity, and the Capolian Society over the Phi Beta Kappa, right, going either with open membership or closed membership. They wanted to make it so that it was more secrecy. And what happened is a few of the members in Phi Beta Kappa said, you know what, we want to start our own society that is sworn to secrecy. So what they did is in 1832, sorry I said 1840, but 1832, William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft father of the future president, William Howard Taft, they started the Skull and Bones. It started out as the Eugilian Club, or Eugilian in Greek, which means blessing, and then they became Skull and Bones. Okay, so I want to give you guys with the Phi Beta Kappa. There's been 17 U.S. presidents that were part of Phi Beta Kappa back when it was a secret society. I'll go over that real quick. So
17.
17, yeah. So we have John Quincy Adams. We have Chester A. Arthur. We have Theodore Roosevelt, very popular president. William Howard Taft, which is obviously the one I'm going over that was in the Skull and Bones. We have Harry S. Truman. We have Franklin D. Roosevelt. We have Dwight D. Eisenhower, Calvin Coolidge, Woodrow Wilson, Grover Cleveland, Ruther B. Hayes, Franklin Pierce, George H.W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama. 17 presidents that have been in Phi Beta Kappa. Obviously, they weren't alive back when it was in the 1800s, but this is all the ones that have been part of Phi Beta Kappa. George H.W. Bush being George Bush Sr., right?
Yes, Herbert.
He ends up in Skull and Bones, so we see that. So
And we can see that those are both parties,
yes.
not just Republicans or Democrats.
Yes, definitely both parties. Jimmy Carter, obviously and I don't know what each one of these guys are, but I know that Jimmy Carter, he's obviously Democrat. Bill Clinton, Democrat. Barack Obama, Democrat. George Bush, Republican, right? So we have that going on. So, all right. So, so the Skull and Bones was founded 1832. Like I said, debate among brothers. They have a number, the Skull and Bones.
And excuse me, this is for male only?
Male only, and used to be like Caucasian,
Whites, okay.
whites only, at one time. And then
All
obviously
the secret societies or just Skull and Bones?
back in the day, from what I've studied, it used
Well,
to
obviously,
it was like that.
1832.
And then it kind of opened up. It opened up. I know that Harvard kind of started opening up, and then Skull and Bones started opening up to females as well too, which they didn't have before. But there was a fight. There was actually they sued each other over it because these members were like, we want to open it up to females now because of how the
Women rights.
it's the way everything's been going.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and the people that were on the board were trying to sue the people that were trying to do that, and they ended up, I don't know if they won in court, not sure what happened with it, but I kind of studied that a little bit when it was going on. And but they allow women now, so which I have no problem with. That's up to them. But why would you just keep white Caucasian men all together?
So when they allowed women to go into the Skull and Bones, 1900s or 2000s?
No, 2000s.
2000s.
This is just recently, yeah.
A few decades ago, okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So the Skull and Bones, they're considered one of the big three societies at Yale University. The others is going to be Scroll and Key, and the other is going to be Wolfhead. These societies are informally Bones members are known as Bonesmen, member of the order and initiated to the order. That's what they're known as, right? So, so why are they called the Skull and Bones? There's a folktale that they had, like in their first meeting when they were the Eugilian Club, which means the Blessing Club, that somebody drew a skull and bones and placed it on the door of their meeting to let people know that if they enter, that they
They're
were
gonna
turning
die.
to skull and bones, right? So that's one of the folk tales of them. I'm not sure if it's 100% true. That's just something that I read about. And anyone that tells the secrets of the society, I believe that's why it's Skull and Bones, because they'll end up being killed if you tell the secret society. That's what I believe. Even when George Bush and John Kerry were in that, remember they kept being asked about by that reporter. They said, "Hey, what's up with the Skull and Bones?" And then he kept saying, "Well, it's so secretive that I can't tell you." And that guy ended up getting killed. Yeah, that reporter ended up getting killed. He died.
Really?
Either died of a heart attack or he died. I can't remember what it is. I don't want to quote wrong, but he ended up dying. So disappearing, I'd say, So as you're looking that up, so their number is 322. And for me, it's interesting because I've heard a few different things. One of them I heard is actually going to be Plimpton 322, which is on the Babylonian clay tablets. And I've also heard that it's from Genesis 322. And on the biblical side, I'll explain the Genesis one. So Genesis 3:22 is going to be, it says, "And the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil, and to know lest he put out his hand and take us also the tree of life and eat and live forever." So it's the verse that's talking about men becoming like God, right? Basically now being able to see good and evil. So that's why it says like one of us, meaning like God, right? So did you have a question about the guy or did
No, the guy is Tim Russert.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Was he killed?
Killed or heart attack? I don't know. He ended up dying. I can't remember what it was. Okay, so
Tim Russert collapsed in the NBC Washington bureau on June 13th, 2008, and was later pronounced dead. Heart attack.
okay, he collapsed. Yeah, so he could have either had a heart attack naturally, or they could have had him had a heart attack. You know, either.
Everything is
Yeah, who knows?
naturally.
Yeah. So yeah, their number is 322, which I think is interesting that Genesis 322 is like that, because one of the things with the secret societies that I've studied is they want to become like gods, right? They want to become a god, right? And the way you become like God is you end up getting the power in the United States, or you end up getting the power in the world, and then you're able to control certain aspects of how we live and things that we do. And that's what I believe that why that Genesis 322 is there. The Plimpton 322 is the other way that people think is it's a notable continuing example of Babylonian mathematics. It has a number of 322 in G.A. Plimpton Collective at Columbia University. This tablet is believed to have been written about 1800 BC. I don't know what it's got the Pythagorean triples. I don't know why they would use the 322 in that way, but I can explain it biblically, which I did with Genesis 322, right? So Skull and Bones also, all the money that the Skull and Bones use is actually funneled through a trust. It's called the Russell Trust. It's named after the founding members, William Russell, which I talked about a little bit earlier. And one of the founding members, Alfonso Taft, which is Alfonso Taft is the one that's William Taft's father, right? And then William Taft ended up becoming the president, which is very interesting. His son, which I have it here, it says his son, William Howard Taft, joined and he gets into Yale and he becomes a president of the United States. And then also Chief Justice. He's one of the only person to ever become president of the United States and then Chief Justice, right? And then also two of his cabinet members were also Skull and Bones members. So I think it gets interesting that you have a guy that starts Skull and Bones with the Russell gentleman, and then you have him joining Skull and Bones, and then his son joining. Just, that's only one generation, and his son already being pushed to the top as the United States president and also the Chief Justice, right? And it's kind of interesting too that his son ends up becoming president, and then two of his cabinet members are picked that were also Skull and Bones members. So I think that we see people being taken care of. And what I would probably do if I were you guys, if you want to dig a little deeper, which I'll probably do as well, is I would look up William Howard Taft, and I would find out that two of his members were Skull and Bones as cabinet members. What about the other cabinet members? I bet you if we looked into it a little deeper, we'd find out that the other cabinet members might not have been Skull and Bones, but they're probably connected to these other secret societies at other colleges, right? So that's what gets really interesting when you start connecting dots like that. So the founding families of Skull and Bones included the Russell and Perkins families over several generations. However, all families are heavily intermarried and became in effect. That's just kind of something that's broken out about the Russell family. William Huntington Russell incorporated Skull and Bones as a Russell Trust Association, which I spoke about earlier. Throughout the 20th century, the Russell Trust, the reason why is to buy land to have their building, and their building for Skull and Bones is actually called the Tomb, and it's located off campus at 64 High Street. And the building is, I don't know if you've ever studied like Tartaria and stuff like that. The building is kind of built based on those kind of buildings. It's like Egyptian themed, right? So I think it gets kind of interesting when you actually see the way it's built and the way that they have the pillars and certain things like that. It's not built that way because during that time they weren't building buildings like that. They built it like that for a reason, right? And as far as with the Egyptians, I don't know the connection between why they would use Egyptian themed, but I do know that there's a lot of sun worship and
a lot
like that.
A lot of things come down basically to Egypt.
Yeah.
The eyes, the worshiping, the pillars, pyramids.
Yes, the phallus comes from there. The one that I told you about, that's in Washington and also in the Vatican and also in the city of London. Yeah, they all three have that, right? So, yeah, and so it gets interesting. And then also, I don't know if you ever heard of a gentleman named Fritz Springmeier. You guys should study this gentleman. He does a good job. He's the one that wrote the Bloodlines of the Illuminati. And that book, he talks about like 13 different families that are like the bloodline of the Illuminati, right? From all his research. I believe that that's more of a Western bloodlines, though. That's not for the world. So if you guys do study it, you'll see that he does have like a Chinese bloodline in there. But when I spoke to a gentleman like Gary Wayne, he kind of opens it up a little more and like does like the world, people of the world, you know, like the black nobility of the world. But I would study some of his stuff. He has some really interesting stuff. Um, and then the bloodlines that are connected to the skull and bones, I can give you guys a few. So the leading skull and bones families in this second category would be we have Harriman, we have Rockefeller, Payne, we have Davison, Pillsbury, and then Winehouse. And the other ones that we'd have, it says it can be documented by comparing the family charts to early bonesmen that there is today a core group of no more than 20 to 30 families who form the nucleus of the order. The majority of old Puritan families who came to the North America in the very first wave of settlers in the 1700s. Among these prominent families are Whitney, we have Lord Phelps, we have Wadsworth, we have Allen, we have Bundy, Adams, Stimson, Taft, which we've gone over earlier, Gilman, and Perkins. I'm only telling you guys this because these are the different families that you can connect to the Skull and Bones that have gone and become Skull and Bones members, and they become prominent members of society, elite people in the United States during that time, you know, so.
So, you know, I always thought that America was founded on the principle that people that didn't like the authority of Europe and the monarchy, and they fled to the new continent. But basically, after a few centuries, some people, some families fled to this new continent as well, and they established the same thing, but they didn't bow down to the monarchy, they bowed down to something else.
Yeah, so I see it as the Jesuits had control and the monarchy had control, and these people wanted, the Freemasons came over here to start a Freemason-based government. That's how I see it. And they wanted to start a democracy, and they wanted to be away from the monarchy, and that caused waves in that causes waves in the secret societies, right? Because the Freemasons, they started sending people over here, Catholics, right, to try to infiltrate. And even if you look at like some of the writings of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, they were writing letters back and forth to each other about, hey, these Jesuits, these Catholics are trying to come and trying to get elected into office, and that's Jesuits. We don't want that, you know.
Because they were Masons.
Yeah, we want the Freemasons to stay. So Jesuits started. What Jesuits do is, if you see throughout time, is they end up infiltrating governments, and they start infiltrating so much that, like Japan, they said that we want all the Jesuits out. They actually kicked all of them out. The Jesuits actually got disbanded supposedly in 1773, and then the Illuminati started in 1776, May 1st, 1776, the Bulgarian Illuminati started. And then they came back together, the Jesuits. So what happened, the reason why they're getting disbanded is because they were infiltrating governments, and they didn't want that over here. So I believe that the Freemasons came over here, they started this government. Even though I do believe that the Jesuits and the Freemasons behind the scenes were getting along, they were just acting like they weren't getting along, you know, for us, you know, but
Worshipping the same devil.
yes. So it just gets really interesting when you start breaking things down. But what most people think is that a bunch of Christian Puritans came over here, and it's all, you know, Christians, right, that started America. But what we actually see is more Freemasonic, and that's why you see Washington D.C. designed the way that it is. You have the Supreme 33 Freemason in Washington, D.C., which is like the highest level of Freemasonry. They have their lodge there. We have a lot of other things, like I talked about the phallus and all this other stuff there, that you could kind of see that it's based more of Freemasonic than Christian in any way, you know. And also you see there's different architecture where you'll see like a big star, which would be like a pentagon, or not a pentagon, pentagram. Sorry, that so the architecture is meant to look nice for you to look at. It looks beautiful, but when you look at you look on the inside of everything, it's very, very interesting, more Freemasonic and Egyptian themed, right?
But speaking of, let's say, Christian culture, I would say there is almost none of it. If you say, let's say, some would say, so the frescoes, all the Italy, right, churches, it's Christian? No, it's Catholic. Yes, it's Christian, but it's Catholic.
Yeah, it is. And
so there is no Christian kind of a quote-unquote culture at all.
Yeah.
Because the real Christians, what I believe, are the ones that, the Protestants, because they believe the Word of God is the ultimate thing. That's it. No tradition. Correct. Sola Scriptura.
Yeah.
But
Sola Scriptura, yeah.
The Protestant churches, they're not like museums. and they're not alike. It's just a building, because it's not about the interior or exterior. It's about what happens inside the church. So I would argue that there is almost none of Christian culture at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, and I don't believe that the Catholic Church and the Vatican and all that stuff is Christian either. So yeah, I agree with you. Very, very
All
good
the
point.
cathedrals, all that is Catholic.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful buildings, amazing buildings, but I would argue that this is not.
Yeah, and Jesus is obviously not about like having a building either. He's
No,
not about that.
not the correct building. Make it more beautiful.
Yeah. Now,
The designer.
Now, in the Old Testament, you see that, God the Father, when he did give them specific design with the temple, right? When they did build the temple, right? So there was a specific design to that. But okay, so we'll go back to Skull and Bones. So there's a way that I could connect the Illuminati to the Skull and Bones. So back in the day, this guy James Robinson, who was a top Freemason, saw the Illuminati coming into the lodges and trying to illuminate the Freemasons. He didn't want that, so he wrote an epic called The Proof of Conspiracy, where he wrote the ritual to get into the Bulgarian Illuminati. He wrote one of the rituals, right? So, and one of the college students copied down from the headquarters of Skull and Bones a ritual that they saw on the wall. One of the college students broke into the Skull and Bones tomb, and they wrote down one of the rituals on the wall. And that ritual was the exact same ritual that was written down in The Proof of Conspiracy by James Robinson, which was a top Freemason, right? So that's kind of a good way you can kind of connect those two. And then also I wanted to bring up, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier on the other episode that we talked, was in the 2004 election, the Republican ticket for incumbent was George W. Bush, and his running mate was Vice President Dick Cheney. And just let you know that George Bush was a Skull and Bones member, and then his Vice President Dick Cheney also went to Yale. All right, so he went against Democratic ticket of John Kerry, a United States Senator from Massachusetts, and his running mate John Edwards, a United States Senator from North Carolina. Okay, well, so George Bush Jr. was class of 68 in the Skull and Bones. John Kerry was class of 66 in the Skull and Bones, right? Both of them were bonesmen. Dick Cheney, like I talked about, he actually went to Yale. Now, there's secret societies that are out there that are college secret societies, even that when you click on them, you can't find out who the notable members even are. So I don't know if Dick Cheney was ever part of a secret society in college. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I know that he did go to Yale. So we have that, right? And obviously we saw George Bush when he was elected, he had to go do the 9/11 and all that stuff that happened. I believe he was involved in that. And so they needed to pick the right person for the job for when 9/11 went down, right? So I believe that he was chosen, and I believe Dick Cheney was also chosen, right?
Do you want to tell me the George Jr., Bush Jr. was the best candidate?
I don't think he was the best candidate, but I think he was the best for the job of them doing 9/11. What I'm saying is, I think 9/11 was an inside job, and I think they had to choose him, see Skull and Bones, and Dick Cheney because they were the best to do this evil plot that I think they did. I didn't say he's the best candidate. Hopefully don't take it that way.
Yeah, but
what I mean is they chose him to be in that position. So much so that there was so in Florida, they had to do a recount for him against Al Gore, right? And that was during that time of before 2001, before it happened. They did a recount to make sure that George Bush was pushed into office. So they chose him. I'm not saying that he's the best candidate. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that they felt like he was best because I think they wanted George Bush in there, right, Jr., and they wanted Dick Cheney in there for when 9/11 happened so that they could pull the 9/11 off, if that makes sense.
And Dick Cheney was an evil human being.
Very evil. Yes, very evil. Yeah, I agree. And I think that he was in there for a reason, and George Bush was in there for a reason for when they did that. But just to let you guys know, it's just interesting that we have the very tippity top of what normal people feel is power, which is the presidency. We have George Bush and we have John Kerry, both of them Skull and Bonesmen going against each other for the presidency. I thought that was interesting. And then we also have George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr. He was also, he's also Skull and Bonesman, which we talked about. And he went against Bill Clinton, right, in 1992. So Bill Clinton was was part of the list of 17 people I went over earlier that were part of the Phi Beta Kappa. So he's part of the secret society there. He's also Order of Demole, which means when you're a child. That's like when you're like a teenager, you're involved in the Freemasonry. It's like the lower level of Freemasonry before you become a Freemason, right?
How's it called?
Order of Demole, and he was part of that. So you have George Bush Sr. going against Bill Clinton, and you have George Bush Sr. being a Skull and Bonesman. Not only is he a Skull and Bonesman, George Bush Sr., but he's also a honorary member of the Nas Brotherhood at Baylor University. He's also part of the Trilateral Commission, which is I believe, a secret society think tank. We know about it, but I believe that all the stuff that they talk about is sworn to secrecy. And then he's also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, right? So we have that. And then we have him going against Bill Clinton, who is he went to Yale as well. He was part of the Phi Beta Kappa I talked about. And he's also a member of the Order of Demole, right? And he's also a Yale University alumni. So we have that going on. So they're running against each other for president as well. You see how these people that are chosen end up being in these spots, So I just think it gets really interesting how that works. Bill Clinton also was part of the Bilderberg Group, which is a private annual conference that's attended by invited guests. And there's influential politics, financiers, media, and academia that all get invited to that, right? So
And it still happens.
It still happens today, yes.
This year, Peter Thiel was there.
Yeah, and
Great guy.
And you see that, I would say great guy.
Great guy, of course.
Oh, yeah.
4 days seminars about the Antichrist.
Yes, yeah.
Great topic.
Yeah, great topic. Yeah, so it gets interesting. So that's kind of just a way to kind of show you guys that the power that ends up, how they end up getting into these spots, right? So every time there's a president election, I believe that they're selected. I don't believe like me or Apollo can like start building a case to become president and end up president. I don't think that they would allow it. So some people would believe like someone like Donald Trump, like, oh, well, he came out of nowhere and he ends up becoming president. But by now, I think we should know that Donald Trump was also chosen. And Donald Trump did go to a Jesuit college, Georgetown University. So not saying he's a Jesuit, but he did go to a Jesuit school. But I think by now we should understand that all of them are chosen. And you can actually trace all these presidents back to one bloodline as well. I don't know if you've,
One?
To one bloodline, yeah. So not saying Donald Trump. I don't know if you could track him back. But all the other presidents, there was a high school kid that actually tracked all of the bloodlines of all the presidents back to one bloodline.
He's alive? The high school kid?
Yeah, he's alive, yeah.
But
I don't think that's like something that they would kill somebody for, because it's literally like you're doing like a research paper on all the presidents. And then he ended up seeing, oh, wow, this is weird that these families all connect to here. And then he kind of just connected them all to one bloodline, which I think is interesting. But I can't tell you that Donald Trump or Joe Biden is part of that, because he did that before they were president, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're part of that same bloodline. We'd have to look into it.
Some people say that Donald Trump is a Freemason, but there is no record, right, of it?
No, I've seen videos or like photographs of him being like
in a robe.
Dressed.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's hard. Okay. What's AI, what's not.
Yes.
Most people won't create things for content. They'll create things to where they want to, even if they know it's fake. Like there's things that I knew are fake. Like I've told people that's fake, bro. There's a picture that somebody's putting out right now of, it has like, they say that Barack Obama, Bill Barr, sorry, and all these guys were all in the same picture at the same time, and they went to the same like Boy Scouts or something, and that picture is not real, but the person still posted. It gets like 30,000 views on the picture, but like I've told them it's fake, and other people have said it's fake in the comments, and they still leave it up. So what's happening right now? You
know what they do right now? So I've heard about this stuff, let's say 3-4 weeks ago, that YouTube, especially during the short clips, they enhance the visuals.
Yeah.
So I've seen this after like 2 weeks ago. I've seen this on one of my short videos. They enhanced Joey's face, and I'm going to show you the screenshot. It looks like AI.
Wow.
They enhanced it.
Yeah, they probably.
That was a big scandal in regards to YouTube doing this without any consent.
Yeah, that is.
So they're doing
really
this, basically taking real footage, documented footage, enhancing it with an AI, and people like me and you who doubt everything, like, no, look, see his eyes, his skin tone, that's AI.
Oh,
but basically this is true.
Yeah, that's interesting because YouTube has asked me several times if I want to be a part of their program, AI program. I keep saying no, I don't want to be part of it. And that could be because sometimes what they'll do is they'll send you something and then you just go, oh, whatever's from
Because
YouTube. Yes. You just put yes.
TNC is, bro,
Yeah,
no one
but
is
I read
reading
through
that.
it, and that's what it is. It's like that. So if you put yes, then they're able to take your videos and kind of adjust them like that, you know? So I think that is part of what they're trying to do. That's very interesting that you bring that up, that they're trying to take what is real and then make it look semi-AI so that you might not know if it's real or not.
Okay, so do you think this stuff is real or not? Not let's say Beyonce or Jay-Z showing all the time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the
They're just
reason.
trying to show a pyramid, basically.
Yeah, this is a pyramid, right?
Yeah.
But every time, let's say a politician, a big time politician sits and let's say he holds his hand like this
Like the
or like
spirit of
this.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think this is just like because they can't get their hands into the pockets or somewhere else and this is just,
Well, okay.
or this is on purpose?
So in the military, United States Army, like when you're talking, like when you're like a specialist or something where you're like lower level, they're not gonna tell you anything. But when you become a sergeant, like, and you have to start doing presentations, or like probably even the way higher ups, they don't want you to be moving your hands. And I'm the type that move my hands a lot. Like when I talk, because I have Italian in me, right? So I talk with
Really?
my hands. Yeah. So
Bro, you know this is the real pizza, the real taste of pizza.
only a little bit Italian, not a lot, not enough. Maybe just enough to affect my hands, but I do. So I have to try to keep my hands too. So I do see people doing that, like the spear of power, I think it's called, and that I think there's certain signs that they do to make to kind of let people know that they're in the club, maybe. But I think they all already know that they're in the club. You don't have to do signs to know it, right? I think they all have meetings and they all would know who is who. You know, for us to all know who's in the secret societies and us not even be a part of it, can you imagine the ones that are actually in it? I think they would know. So they could be doing that to keep their fingers to where they're together. Or they could be doing it to show like people that they're part of that secret society. I couldn't give you 100%, but Joey would say 100%.
Yes.
That's the reason they're doing that, just to show that they're
Yes.
part of it and they're all affiliated with the same club. Yeah. And Joey, no offense to Joey, I think that he has a lot of truths. Like I said, he just hasn't found the real truth, which is the Bible yet.
Jesus
He hasn't
Christ.
found Jesus, right? But I think hopefully he's on his way at some point.
So with this thing, I don't agree, right? That this is on purpose. But vice versa, I agree that this might be on purpose. But let's say if I asked you, can you show me nothing or zero? How would you show it with your hands?
So I'm sorry.
Zero.
Oh, I don't want to do it because
So
they'll probably try to
most
make
of people
a
would
meme
say
out of
like
me.
this, right?
Yeah. So
So
that would be 666.
666, right?
Yeah.
But I'm used to show this like zero chances.
Yes.
Not like this, but like this, this. I don't know, right from my childhood. I also I also did a few dives, and when you go under the water, you show this, like you can say like I'm okay, cool, but you show this when you're under the water. It means you want to go up. And if an instructor asks you whether you are okay, you don't show like this up, like you say this under the water. So this might be the sign as well. So every time I show this, they take screenshots. He's one guys. This is not 666 for me.
Yeah.
I believe the intention matters, not the sign, but the intent.
The intention matters to God too. You know, like God.
Yeah.
If you're not, that it doesn't matter whether Joey or Fittest Flat Earther, which I'm friends with as well, or this person thinks anything. What matters is if you go to heaven when you die. It matters where you are with God.
Correct.
That's what matters. So anybody can have their opinion on what you're doing with your hands or whatever you're doing, but the true, it just matters what your intent is and what you're doing in secrecy, right? And these people in secrecy are not doing what we're doing. I don't have anything that needs to be secret, right? But you see. Now, the only thing that needs to be in secret, according to God, is when you see somebody on the street that needs help and you give them money.
Correct.
Or you help them or you do something. That's between you, that person, and God. It needs to stay like that. It doesn't need you to be like,
No showing off.
hey, today I gave $20 to this bum because he was hungry. And then everybody, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Or homeless, whatever. Just the way people speak, you know, like they would say like, I give $20 to this bum or this homeless person just so they get recognition, right? The way you get recognition from God is by keeping that a secret, and it's just between you and that person, you know.
But you know, I would disagree with you, because maybe the good deeds can be contagious. Let's say a human being with a powerful social media following with 1 million followers. He says every let's say month or every quarter I do this and that for kids, single moms, homeless, and etc. And maybe someone's watching like, maybe I should do the same. Or maybe he's fundraising or doing the same stuff. You can't do this in silent if you're fundraising, right?
Yes.
But if that's a true fundraise and not the way they do fundraising, like 85% goes to salaries, and 15% only to the ones that need that.
Yes. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All I'm saying,
Yeah, but in the Bible,
all I'm telling
yes.
you is this: God is not saying that's a bad thing either. But God's saying your reward, that's your reward. Your reward is through man, but your reward's not going to be given to you from me, for that, because you went out and told everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, is it contagious? Yeah, I think it is. And that person that's getting that recognition, the likes and everything that they're after, because that becomes like a drug as well. When you start getting likes, follows, and people, it's like a drug. You get addicted to it. I have a friend that had 500,000 subscribers on or followers on TikTok, and he's a Christian, right? And he had to literally shut his whole account down because he felt like, because he used to be addicted to heroin before and he became Christian. So he was a pro baseball player, was addicted to heroin, and he said it's like literally like a drug. And
He recognized the pattern.
yes. So the people that are doing that, I don't know their heart. And I appreciate them doing that for people because people need help, But God is telling you that what he's saying is, don't expect a reward from me because your reward is with those likes and follows and those comments and the recognition from humans. So, yeah. But, all right. So a way we can connect the Skull and Bones to the Council of Foreign Relations. The president of the Council of Foreign Relations would be Winston Lord. He's an American diplomat, leader of the non-governmental foreign agencies. So he was actually the president of Council on Foreign Relations. His name's Winston Lord, and he was a prominent member of the Skull and Bones. We also have George Bush Sr., who is a prominent member of the Skull and Bones that ended up being the Council on Foreign Relations as well. We have that, and then there's like a list of Skull and Bones members that I can kind of go over. Oops, I'm sorry, I went too far down, too far up. And guys, just to let you guys know, I have a ton of notes that I'm going over, so if it goes up like this, I do apologize. I'm going to try to stay on track as much as possible.
Guys, the man came with the receipts. Like, subscribe, follow him on Instagram, on his YouTube channel. All the links are going to be in the description below. Please.
Thank you.
It will take you like 5 seconds.
Okay, so among the prominent alumni are former presidents and Chief Justice, which I talked about earlier, was William Howard Taft. We have George H.W. Bush. We have George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. We have Chauncey Depew, which is the president of the New York Central Railroad System. So back in the day, that was a huge prominent position. United States Senator and from New York, John Terry Trippi, founder and CEO of Pan America World Airways, Joseph Gibson Hoyt. First Chancellor of Washington University, we have Supreme Court Justice Morrison H. Wyatt, Potter Stewart, James Jesus Angleton, mother of the Central Intelligence Agency, it says. Henry Stimson, U.S. Secretary of War. Robert A. Leavitt, U.S. Secretary of Defense. William B. Washburn, Governor of Massachusetts. And then we have Henry Lucy, which is actually the founder and publisher of Time, Life, Fortune, and Sports Illustrated magazine. Now, Henry Lucy is also if you look into him, he's an occultist, right? And he created Time, Life, Fortune, and Sports Illustrated magazines, okay? And those are, that alone is a lot of agendas being pushed and a lot of things being pushed through those magazines. If you're on the cover of Time, Life magazine at one time, you were a prominent figure and you're looked at like, something big in America, right? So
Time, Life, Sports Illustrated.
And Fortune magazine.
And Fortune.
Yeah. It's a big one. So now there's obviously a whole bunch of list of other people that have been involved in Skull and Bones. Okay, there's a prominent list. If you guys want to look it up, you could Google Skull and Bones, right? Skull and Bones will pop up. Go to notable alumni and you click on it and you're going to see a whole list of people that were Skull and Bonesmen, okay? I can't go over all of them. A lot of them you're probably not going to know who they are. And it takes a lot of time to click on them and then cross-reference them to, High School Secret Society, to the Skull and Bones, to Trilateral Commission, to all these different things. So it takes a while.
And the names that you don't know of, these are the most important ones.
Yes.
The Great Cardinals.
I agree, definitely. So, okay, so Skull and Bones, so they have their own island, which is interesting.
Island?
It's called Deer Island, where they meet up and all past alumni and current alumni actually get to enjoy the nuances. And a lot of the times they're called the patriarch, who's the past alumni. They end up coming and they meet up and they have these little, whatever they have, parties on an island. I don't know. The one recently we found out about was pretty interesting, Epstein's Island, but this is just like a little deer island. This is not like, this is supposedly like, I think it's more of a small island in
New York.
Yeah, in New York. It's not like an island out in the international waters where they could do.
Size is about 40 to 50 acres.
There you go. Yep. So it's like a site that they meet at, right? So, and then, okay, so there's a very famous story about the Skull and Bones about Geronimo, right? So what they say is, and this is involving Prescott Bush, which is George Bush's father, George Bush Sr.'s father.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a longstanding, they say it's a legend. I don't know if there's definitive proof, but they say that Prescott Bush actually went to these Indians' burial site and they stole Geronimo's bones. The story is a prominent conspiracy theory surrounding at Yale Secret Society Skull and Bones.
Who's Geronimo?
Prescott Bush was a member. He's actually, Geronimo is, he was an Indian, like a very famous Native American Indian, right? So, it says, according to the lore, Prescott Bush and other Skull and Bones members stole Geronimo's skull and other remains from his gravesite, and they took it to their clubhouse, the tomb, right? And they ended up putting it in there. And to have something like that is, for them, is like it's like, oh, it's like a legend that they have, and they get to take it and they get to put it up there. So, but what there was a lawsuit on it. I'm not 100% sure that Prescott Bush was even involved in it, but it's something that a lot of people have brought up on documentaries, films. But when I studied a little deeper, I'm not sure. There was actually a 2009 lawsuit where Geronimo's descendants tried to sue Skull and Bones, Yale, and the federal government actually dismissed the case in 2010. Who knows if they paid him off or what happened, but the family argued that even if it wasn't Geronimo's bones, that it was likely an Apache, at least somebody that was an Apache's bones, right? And they wanted him back, but they didn't allow him to get it back. So they lost in court, which is very interesting. So,
there's a legend or a myth or a conspiracy theorist in regard to, I want to say Junior, that he's the son of Aleister Crowley.
Oh yeah, that his Barbara Bush is the daughter of Aleister Crowley, is what they say.
Yeah, that's
yes, because they do the facial recognition, kind of similar to I think what Fittest Flat Earther does, Tyler, and kind of puts the faces together, right? So yeah, they say that, but I'm not 100%. I can't really connect that either 100%.
And Aleister Crowley was best of the best as well.
Oh man,
great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Christian values.
Oh man, and Secret Society too, the OTO. Yeah, so he's very interesting guy. So all right, so that's kind of my whole thing with Skull and Bones, right? Which I know it took a while. I kind of went deep into that, but we have some other prominent secret societies, which I told you was the big three. So we have like the Scroll and Key, right? Scroll and Key is a society that was founded in 1842. Yale University, New Haven, Connecticut. It's one of the oldest Yale secret societies and reputably the wealthiest. The society is one reputed as the big three, which is Skull and Bones, Wolfhead, and also the Scroll and Key. So a lot of when I studied it, I saw a lot of people that were actually involved in media involved in this. Mark Twain, that's a big one that was an honorary member. We also have let me see, I kind of pulled up. There's a guy named Fareed Zakaria. He was an Indian-born American journalist, political commentator, and author. He is the host of CNN's Fareed Zarika GPS, and he writes a weekly paid column for the Washington Post. He's kind of big in the media aspect. Another one that I pulled up would be Robert Sargent Shiver. He was an American diplomat, politician, activist. He's a member of the Shiver family by birth, and of the Kennedy family through his marriage to Eunice Kennedy. We have that. He's just to let you know this guy's resume, which I see with a lot of the members.
What's his last name?
His last name is Shriver, Shriver.
So Shriver, just like Schwarzenegger's wife's name.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
You can connect that.
Yes, because they said that Arnold married to a Kennedy.
Oh,
and
okay.
they had ties.
There you go. So if they're
Maria Shriver, yeah.
Yeah, that must be it. Yeah, that's very interesting. So, yeah, so he's a member of the Kennedy family through Eunice Kennedy, Shriver. So, and he's the driving force. He started the Peace Corps, Job Corps, war on poverty, Democratic Party nominee, all this stuff, right? So he was a United States ambassador to France, okay? He was also director of Office and Economic Opportunity, first director of Peace Corps under President John F. Kennedy, obviously he knows him through marriage, president of Chicago Board of Education. And then if you go through, what I would do if I were you guys, I would try to go through all the notable members, and then you can kind of see how important all these people are in a list that you can kind of put them on and connect them to. Since they were in this secret society, you can connect them to different jobs that people have, like ambassadors, diplomats, presidents, and stuff like that. So,
Josh, so you are an American, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you this question. A lot of people were saying that the best president of all was the JFK, right?
yeah, a lot
He
of
was
people
from
say
the
that.
he was from the prominent family, etc. So the question is the following: what did the Kennedys do? How did they become prominent? What are their biggest achievement?
Well, John F. Kennedy, they think he's clean, like he's never done anything wrong, like he was so good. But he, once I get into Harvard, you'll see that he was part of the Spee Club, which is a secret society. So he was.
Okay.
Now, a lot of these people, what they do, a lot of people that study secret societies or study presidents, whether they're evil or not, they try to find out if they've been in the Freemasons, right? So they're like, all right, let me see this person. Oh, 33-year Mason, he's bad. This other guy, oh, he's good. But what they fail to understand is there's other secret societies that you have to try to connect them to, like high school or college secret societies, to find out, And
Yeah, but what I mean is JFK was a prominent figure even prior to becoming a president, because his father was a prominent person.
Yeah, I
What
think it was-
exactly did he do?
that was so great. I don't know. I know more about John F. Kennedy than his father. I just know the Bush family, I could tell you, because I've studied them like pretty intensely. So what I'll go over right now is the next one we're going to go over is Wolf's Head, right? Which is the third of the secret societies. And George Bush's great grandfather was one of the people that started the Wolf's Head secret society. So the Bush family you can study, like James Smith Bush is the one, and he was part of the. There's 300 people that all started that all like wanted to start the Wolf's Head. It says 300 Yale alumni. Okay, so it says 15 rising seniors from the Yale class of 1884, with help from members of Yale class of 1883, were considered publicly possible for taps for other societies and better for creation of the third society. The society changed its name to Wolf's Head Society years later. The effort was aided by more than 300 Yale alumni and a few Yale Law School faculty, and in part counter to the dominance of the Skull and Bone Society in undergraduate and university affairs. One of the 300 were Preston Bush, which is going to be Preston Bush is going to be
The father of the senior.
yeah, Preston Bush. Sorry, one of them were Preston Bush's great grandfather. I'm sorry, was a member of the Wolf's Head Society, which is James Smith Bush. Okay, he's an American attorney, Episcopal priest, a religious writer, and ancestor of the Bush political family. He was the father of Samuel Prescott Bush, grandfather of a former U.S. Senator Prescott Bush, great-grandfather of George W. Bush Sr., and obviously he's the great-grandfather of great-great-grandfather of George W. Bush Jr. and former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. Okay, so he actually was involved in creating the Wolf's Head Society. And as you see, we have James Smith Bush starting Wolf's Head Society. We have Prescott Bush being in the Skull and Bones. We have Samuel Prescott Bush with Skull and Bones. We have George W. Bush Sr. Skull and Bones, George W. Bush Jr. Skull and Bones, and then Jeb Bush is also part of a secret society in his college. So the whole family has all been part of these college secret societies, which I'm telling you guys, this is where the power comes from.
And they've been in the cabinets for centuries.
Oh, yeah. And if you look at George Bush, for example, let's just look at his, I just want to show you like his resume, right? So,
Senior or junior?
George Bush Sr., right? So first of all, he's the 41st president of the United States, right? In 1989 to 1993. He's the 43rd vice president of the United States from 1981 to 1989. He is the 11th director of the Central Intelligence Agency, so that's the CIA, from 1976 to 1977. He's the chief of U.S. Liaison Office of People's Republic of China in 1974 to 1975, 48th chairman of the Republican National Committee from 1973 to 1974. United States Ambassador of the United Nations from 1971 to 1973, U.S. House of Representative from the 7th District from 1967 to 1971. So you have him getting out of college and becoming a U.S. House of Representative from 1967, and he reigned all the way till 1993. That's a long time to be in government and move from that position all the way to a president of the United States.
And he's been changing job titles every 2 years.
Yeah, changing and just getting better and better. So
The resume is amazing, bro.
I mean, look at
the
that,
head of
bro.
the CIA, the vice
of the CIA,
president,
yes.
UN,
Yeah,
then the
vice
president.
You see, so you see that with a lot of these people that are part of the secret societies. Now, do they all make it to president? No, but you're going to see them like director of the Central Intelligence Agency. You'll see them like, diplomats to China, to all these different job titles, right? So not all of them make it to U.S. president, but I don't believe that U.S. presidents are the top of the top anyways. But it's very interesting that they ended up making to these spots. And you have George Bush Jr., which I'll click on him real quick.
But
Let's
before
see what-
that, all those positions, except the president of the U.S., are not being elected, appointed.
Yes. So they're
They're making decisions and you can't vote for them.
Yes. And they're getting put in that position,
Yes.
So, yeah, and I think they're put there. So now with George Bush Jr., not as much. You have him from 1995 to 2000. He's the governor of Texas, and then from 2001 to 2009. So you do have a pretty good span there from 1995 to 2009 where he's a governor, and then he's also the president of the United States, which is for 8 years. So that is a good span of having power.
How about dodging the shoe?
Yeah, I know, dodging the shoe. Yeah, very interesting. And then Jeb Bush is the other one, other Bush. You just have him Secretary of Florida Department of Commerce, 1987 to 88, and then you have him Governor of Florida from 1999 to 2007. He's obviously not as big of a Bush member. He did try to run for president against Donald Trump, and didn't make it, right?
Low energy.
Yeah, so we have him. So now Prescott Bush is another one, which is Prescott Bush he was a senator from 1952 to 1963, but Prescott Bush was also part of, they say that he was part of, with Kennedy, where the stock market crashed. Do you remember that?
No.
The stock market crashed. It was the Great Depression. So not so much him, but more the Kennedy's dad they say was part of the stock market crashing, where they bought a bunch of stocks or whatever, and then they caused it
During the Great Depression?
to help
29 to 33?
So there is something that Kennedy was involved in, and but I don't know. That's kind of just some research that I've done. Yeah, that was back in the day, the Great Depression, right? So, so Prescott Bush was more of like a financier, and he was. They have money. The family has money, but it's just interesting how from the great grandfather down to Samuel Prescott Bush, down to Prescott Bush, down to George Bush, down to George Bush Jr., down to Jeb Bush, they're all part of a secret society in high school and in college. Not all of them in high school, but some of them in high school and college. So I just think it's fascinating.
And who was that one guy that started all those president families that you said that the high school kid did a research?
What was the family?
What was that guy that started it all?
The
bloodlines, yeah.
I don't remember. I don't have it in my notes. I wish I did.
He had like what, 30 kids?
I mean, I think it's just the way that, I don't know how they tracked it all back to one family, but even a lot of the stars you could track back to being related to like, I don't know if you've heard of
Celebrities?
Celebrities. Yeah.
Really?
Like Ellen said she's related to the Queen of England. For
Ellen
example,
DeGeneres?
yeah. Some other people would say they're related to Obama, and then there's like I think I don't want to go over all of them because I don't know them off the top.
Oh, there's Judge Joe Brown talked about
Yes,
this. He
there
said
you go.
Obama and Brad Pitt are
Yeah,
cousins or something like that.
cousins or fifth cousins. Yeah, so you see that happening where there's a bloodline there, So that's another way you could take this research to, if you guys want to take it to another level, is to track it down to a bloodlines, which it takes a lot, to I don't see personally, I work 55 hours a week in my job, right? And then I also have 3 kids, and then I also have a podcast to run, and I also run 2 Bible studies. And so I don't have time is very limited. Even this whole week, I was basically just trying to put page by page exactly what I'm going to do with this show today for you today. But the only time I have time to study for this stuff, because I don't take time away from my kids, is after 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So I'm just like researching, and it gets really time consuming to research this type of stuff.
That's why I'm so thankful that you came here.
Oh, no
Thank
worries.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you having me on the show, to be honest. Just the amount of people that have kind of followed me after this, and I'm not here for follows, but it does lead more people to following my show, which means more people will be led to listen to the Bible studies, which
Amen.
is ultimately
Amen.
what I want to happen.
100%.
All right. So I kind of went over Yale, right? There's one more that you guys can look into. I cannot find any information about, and they're called the Brazith Secret Society at Yale, but there's no notable members, and I can't find too much information on it. But that's kind of you'll find a couple more secret societies at Yale, but I don't think that they're as prominent as Wolfhead and the ones that I went over. You know, the Skull and Key, and then also Skull and Bones. But
So all the families that started those secret societies and the followers that were the members, etc., we can trace them back to being English. I would say English or German, no French, no Italians.
no, I'm sure that some people came over like that were Spanish and stuff like that too. But yeah, I think
But the last names,
yeah.
they're
So,
all
yeah,
English.
we'd have to track it back, but yeah, I think that a lot of it were English that came over here in the beginning, and then
A few of them are Jewish, like Rothschild.
that's what I was talking about. I think that those are like the Freemason side that kind of came over here from England, right? Because it was like the Scottish Rite Freemasons. I think they kind of broke off and came over here, started the United States, and then I think the Jesuits were in control over there, and then the monastery, right? And then there's a York Rite Freemason, which is different than Scottish Rite, but they're still in power. And I believe the very tippity top of Freemasonry. I don't want to get off subject, but I think the tippity top right now would be King Charles, right? I think there's something called the Order of Garter. If you guys want to look that up, Order of Garter is like the King Charles's Order of Garter, which is like his top knights and nobility, right? And I believe that I think he's the top of Freemasonry, Scottish Rite. I don't know York Rite, and I think the top of the Jesuits, from all the research that I've ever researched, would be somebody named Pepe Orsini, which is supposedly the Grey Pope. I'm not 100% if that's true. But all the research that I've done, I think that the Orsini and the Colonna family, those two kind of merged together, and then they became Orsini. And then I think that that's like then the top of the Italian bloodlines, right? But there's like 12 other bloodlines too that are Italian that you can research and dig into as well. But
And King Charles or King George, he is still the head of the English church as a king.
yes, yeah, yep.
I haven't seen.
Church.
I haven't ever
called Church
seen.
of England.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have never ever seen him promoting Jesus Christ.
Ever.
Ever.
You won't.
The head of the Church of England
Yeah.
never
Oh, her
spoke
either.
about Jesus Christ.
Well, his mom, I think she sometimes would point people towards Jesus, but I don't hear anything from him at all, at all. And I'm not saying that she was something good. I mean,
It's in the eyes.
but it's very hard to,
If you remember her eyes,
yeah.
the eyes don't lie, Chico.
They don't lie.
Never.
Okay, so our next college secret societies, which is one of the big colleges that everybody kind of knows about, would be Harvard, right? So Harvard University, we have a few different clubs that I kind of want to go over so people can see. So we have Harvard University has the Spee Club, right? It was originally founded in 1852, and the people that were involved in the Spee Club, we have John F. Kennedy, which is the 35th president of the United States, which we've gone over a little bit about him. We have Robert F. Kennedy, which is the United States Senator from New York. We have Douglas Kenney. He's an American writer and co-founder of National Lampoon. And then we have Henry Bird, which is American writer and co-founder of National Lampoon. National Lampoon is like a big movie that most people would know about. National Lampoon's a big
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. We have Joshua Kushner. He's actually an American businessman and investor. He's Jared Kushner's brother. Jared Kushner is President Trump's daughter's husband, right?
Yes.
We have Peter Gary, which is Peter Golette Gary, which is a United States Senator from Rhode Island. We have Norman D. Vaughan, who's an American polar explorer. We have Peter Beckley, which is an American author and screenwriter. Any other big names on here? We have Philip Roosevelt, which is a World War I captain and banker. And then we have Tweed Roosevelt, which is an American businessman. They're obviously, they're part of the Roosevelt family, right? Theodore Roosevelt, right? And then we have Michael Mailer, who's a film director and producer. So that's who they've released from the Speak Club. Not saying that there's not other prominent members, but that's who they would tell that who they released to the public. Okay, so that was formed in 1852. So you guys know. Any questions about anything I've gone over so far? I always like to ask you.
No.
No? Okay, no problem. We'll continue. So we have the next one is going to be the Porcelain Club. This is an all-male final club, secret society at Harvard University, and it was founded in 1794. They used to be called the Agronauts. The year of the roast pig dinner that formally established the club under its initial name, the Pig Club. The club's Epicurean motto is "While we live, let us live." It's an emblem of a pig, reflect its origins. And then let's see if some prominent members here. We have Theodore Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt Jr., Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. We have Joseph Asaph, was a journalist, co-author of 168 Days. We have financier August Belmont Jr. In 1875 is when he graduated from there. Let's see if I have any more prominent members here. I want to try to name people that you guys know. I'm going to be naming people that you guys don't know. It's not going to be as it's not going to hit as hard, right? So, yeah.
Is Josh Monday in the list?
No,
Not yet.
I'm not on the list. Thank God. Theodore Roosevelt, you guys already know, he's the 26th president of the United States, and he's a prominent Freemason. Yeah, so Theodore Roosevelt Jr. was the one I also mentioned. He's actually a Brigadier General, Medal of Honor recipient. Yeah, so there's a ton of people that are on this list. We have U.S. senators from Massachusetts. We have a U.S. senator from Alaska, Don Sullivan. Henry Lodge senator from Massachusetts. We have film and television director Miles Fisher. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of people on the list that you guys can look through if you guys want to pull it up. So it's called the Pigs Club or the Porcelain Club. Yeah, very interesting stuff there. So we have that. And next up, we're gonna have the next club is gonna be the AD Club. All right, this is another secret society that is at Harvard University. It was formed in 1865, and we have Charles Francis Adams Jr., who is the president of the Union Pacific Railroad. We have the United States Secretary of the Navy, Charles Francis Adams III. We have Charles Francis Adams V, who's a electrician and industrialist. We have Craig Adams, professional hockey player. Lawrence Anderson, who's a diplomat and U.S. ambassador to Japan. We have Robert Bacon, who's a United States Secretary of State and ambassador to France. All right, and there's a ton of other people that are on this list that are all either professional baseball players, professional tennis players. We have diplomats, real estate executives, presidents of Harvard, Supreme Court justice, clergymen, lawyers, writers, authors, historians. There's a whole bunch of people on this list of names of people that you probably won't recognize, so I'm not really naming them here. The next one for Harvard is going to be the Delphic Club. It's an all-male social club and secret society founded in 1846. Okay, so for this one, we have Matt Damon, which is interesting. He's an actor, screenwriter, and film producer. You guys know who that is. Archibald Cox, he's a U.S. Solicitor General and Special Prosecutor during the Watergate scandal. We have Julian Codman, a lawyer and opponent for Prohibition who was involved in the American Anti-Imperialist League. We also have another gentleman. His name is Aga Khan V. Okay, and this gentleman his name is Al Husseini. That's his actual name. He goes by Aga Khan IV, but his real name is Al Husseini, and his net worth is about $13.3 billion by Vanity Fair. He's one of the 15 richest royals. He held no political sovereignty or territorial authority. The designation that referred to his hereditary role as a imam of the Nasri Asmolis, sorry, I might be pronouncing that wrong, not all any form of royal monarchical status. So he's the founder and chairman of Aga Khan Development, one of the largest private development networks in the world. We also have Jack Lemmon. If you remember, Jack Lemmon also went to those high schools, right? He was also a prominent member. He's an actor. And then also we have J.P. Morgan. That's a big name that people are going to know. Banker, finance executive, and philanthropist, J.P. Morgan. And J.P. Morgan Jr. is also part of this club. J.P.
Morgan is one of those who established the Federal Reserve?
Yes, and he was the one that canceled his trip to go on the Titanic. He was supposed to have a seat on the Titanic. That's what I believe, yeah. looking at JP Morgan and see if he canceled his, he had a seat for the Titanic and then he canceled it. And then the other people end up going. And obviously a lot of them.
Bro, that's true. Yes, JP Morgan, the powerful American banker, was supposed to be on the Titanic's maiden voyage, but he canceled at the last minute.
Yeah.
Ooh, how lucky he was, right?
Yeah.
What are the odds, guys?
I have another big one here. So we have Richard E. Byrd, okay, the third. I talked about him about Operation
Antarctica.
yeah. So this is the dad of him. His name is Richard E. Byrd, United States Navy officer, Antarctic explorer. Very interesting. And then the son of Admiral Richard Byrd, and the son of Admiral Richard Byrd. So we have, I'm sorry. So we have him, Richard Byrd, and the son of Admiral Richard Byrd is also part of the secret society. I wrote that down. I'm sorry. I got confused there. So yeah, Richard Byrd. I talked to him about Operation High Jump, Operation Deep Freeze. He was also part of this. And he's a prominent 33-degree Mason as well. Was one. Yeah.
So I pulled up all the list of the celebrities or the prominent people that canceled their trip on Titanic. JP Morgan, Milton Hershey, founder of Hershey's Chocolate Company, Vanderbilt, obviously you know who's that, Henry Clay Frick, American steel magnate, Guglielmo Marconi, inventor of wireless telegraphy or the radio, Theodore Dreiser, famous American author, great books, J. Horace Harding, New York banker, another one, Vanderbilt.
Yep.
What are the chances?
Yeah, look into those, and then we could take those names and run them back to see if they went to these secret society colleges. They probably were part of them, or at least part of Freemasons, or part of some kind of secret society, you know. So, and then we have another one, Aleister. Aleister's a big name for the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. It's John Jacob Aleister the fifth. It was an American business magnate, real estate developer, investor, writer, lieutenant, Spanish War, and prominent member of the Aleister family, which is the Aleister family is big in the Illuminati name, or not the Illuminati, sorry, the bloodlines of the Illuminati. So we have that. And then the last one we're going to go over for Harvard is going to be the Fly Club, right? It was made for male students university. It's formerly a literary society in 1836, operated as a chapter of Alpha Delta Phi fraternity from 1837 to 1865. And it adopted its nickname, the Fly Club. Its official name in 1910. The Fly Club merged to a final club, which is a secret society club. And so let's see who they have on here. So we have Charles Francis III, Secretary of the Navy, American Cup defender, Lawrence Anderson, Security of United States Legation of the Courts of St. James. Let's see if we have anybody else here. We got Dwight F. Davis. So a lot of these are going to be military, right? We have Dwight F. Davis, Secretary of War and Governor from General Philippines. We have Joseph Hodges, U.S. Ambassador for the United Kingdom. We have Lathrop Brown, United States House of Representatives, so he's going to be a politician. Edward Bell, U.S. diplomatic official involved in decoding the Zimmerman telegram in World War I. That's very interesting for that. We have Grenville T. Emmett, U.S. Ambassador for the Netherlands and U.S. Ambassador for Austria. Charles S. Fairfield, who's United States Secretary of Treasury and Attorney General of New York. We have the Mayor of Oakland here, John B. Felton, so he became a mayor, so more of a local level. Joseph Grew, U.S. Ambassador to Japan, who oversaw the development of U.S. Foreign Service. We have Charles Hale, who's the Speaker of Massachusetts House of Representatives, United States Assistant Secretary of State. So a lot of these people are prominent politicians and prominent in war, right?
No losers in those lists.
No, definitely not. Wickman Hoffman is a U.S. Minister for Denmark, Colonel in the Union Army. Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. All right, we have Joseph Kennedy Sr. here, United States Ambassador for United Kingdom and Chair of the U.S. Maritime Commission, first Chair of the U.S. Securities Commission. So let me click on that real quick to see who this is. So this is the American businessman, investor, philanthropist, and politician. He is known for his political prominence as well as his children. So this is the guy that you're talking about, Joseph Kennedy, the one that you're asking about.
Yes.
Right? What did he do? He's an ambitious patriarch for the Kennedy family, which included Senator and President John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy and Ted Kennedy, right? So, yeah, so this is who he is. So he has the first chair for U.S. Securities Exchange Commission from 1934 to 1935, first chair of U.S. Maritime Commission from 1937 to 1938, and then the 44 United States Ambassador to United Kingdom from 1938 to 1940. So he's got a nice little resume as well. Plus, he's an investor, philanthropist, and American businessman and politician. All right, let's go back.
So you basically create an organization, you become a member or the founding member or the president, and then you appoint your sisters, friends, brothers, uncles,
Council member, or cabinet members. Yeah.
cabinet members.
Yeah, definitely. And you appoint them, right? And then the Senate does vote for them though. Like when you do appoint them, they do get voted on by the Senate, right? But okay, so in this club also we have J. Rockefeller, which the Rockefeller name obviously is one of the prominent bloodlines, and J. Rockefeller is, let's see what he's about. So from 1966 to 1968, he was a member of the West Virginia House of Delegates, and then from 1969 to 1973, U.S. Secretary of State for West Virginia, and then the 29th governor of West Virginia from 1977 to 1985, and then the United States Senator from West Virginia from 1985 to 2015. So basically from 1966 to 2015, he's been in government, J. Rockefeller, right? So it's just, I'm seeing a pattern here of this happening, right? We have Franklin D. Roosevelt, also part of this secret society, who was the president of the United States. In 1904, he was part of the secret society. We also have James Roosevelt, United States House of Representatives. Then we have Theodore Roosevelt, president of the United States, also part of this secret society, who was president of the United States. And then the governor of Massachusetts, Bill Weld. And then we also have David Rockefeller, involved in this secret society, who was, the Rockefeller name obviously is another, one of the bloodline of the Illuminati. So yeah, very interesting. So we have that, and I could go over a few others for Harvard, but for sake of time, we'll skip that. But you kind of see a pattern here of these. When you click on some of these names, you'll see that their resume is from like 1965 all the way to 2001. He was all in government the whole entire time. Very interesting stuff, you know. And then, all right. So,
but even the positions that the people have to vote them in, like the Senate, right, the Congress.
Yeah,
they were all there as well. So they manage their ways how to get into the Congress too.
And then when they get into the Senate too, you see some people that are in the Senate for 20 years, 25 years, you know. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Having a lot of money, campaigning the right way,
Yes.
know how to, let's say, blackmail your opponent, or even your opponent is basically your roommate
Yeah.
from the college.
Yeah. Or part of your secret society, or part of one of the secret societies that are in college. So that way they know that you've already sworn an oath, and they know that you keep a secret, you know? So interesting. All right, the next one we have is the College of William and Mary. This is going to be, so we have secret societies from them, and this college was actually formed. I have to see when it was a college formed. Let me see if it tells me that. 1779, okay? So this college was formed in 1779. The university among original 9 colonial colleges, right? It was led by James Madison and Thomas Jefferson and other reformers. So we have a little history on that. So the 13 clubs in a secret society at William, there's 13 secret society, or sorry, the 13 Club is a secret society at College William and Mary. So we'll talk about the 13 Club. It was founded in 1890. It's noted as for its philanthropic practices is what it says. And a few of the people that have been part of the 13 Club is over time gaining 5 U.S. presidents, either as members or honorary members. So we have Cheston Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, William McKinley, and Theodore Roosevelt. And Theodore Roosevelt, I talked about earlier, he's a prominent Mason, right? Theodore Roosevelt is a honorary member, which is not like where he went to that college. He ended up he was going to Harvard, but he ended up becoming an honorary member of the 13 Club here. So the next one we have is going to be called the Flat Hat Club. It's a collegiate secret society and honor society at the College of William and Mary at Williamsburg, Virginia, originally called the FHC Club, and it was founded in 1750. So that's even before we even became
the USA.
Yeah, so very interesting. So let's see if we have any big names on here. Thomas Jefferson, founding father and president of the United States, was part of that secret society, or in the college secret society. And these guys we might not know too much about because these are like way before our time. But let's see, we have the president of the college, James Stewart Byron. So think about this. You're going to the college and the president of the college was a secret society member. So you know that he's obviously already sworn allegiance. We have Thomas Gwatkin, who's a cleric and professor at the university. Let's see if we have anybody else here. St. George Tucker, judge, General Court of Virginia, Court of Appeals, law professor, and college professor at the college. George Wyatt, Founding Fathers of the United States, Delegate of the Continental Congress, Attorney General of Virginia, Speaker and Virginia House of Delegates, and Mayor of Virginia as well. We also have James Monroe, and James Monroe was involved with Freemasons, an organization roots of the Temple of 1773. Yeah, so he was also a Freemason and also a prominent member of the FHC Society or the Flat Hat Club. So we have that now. So now, next one we're going to go to is University of Virginia. Before we go there, is there any questions you have so far on anything we've gone over? Okay, let me get a drink of water here. All right, so we have University of Virginia. This one, there's several secret societies in them, but there's one called the Eli Banana Secret Society Club, and
Eli Banana.
Yeah, Eli Banana. Yeah, I don't know why it's called that. Believe me. But there's that one, and then if you click on that one, so it's called Eli Banana. It was formed in 1878, and see if they don't really give you a whole bunch of notable members, but one of them is actually Richard Evelyn Byrd Sr. Richard Byrd Sr. So he's actually the father of the Richard Byrd that I talked about earlier, United States Attorney, Speaker of the House of Virginia Delegates. We have William Holding Escos, who's a mathematics professor. We have George Fawcett, who's a stage film actor and stage actor as well. Let's see if we have anything else. We got Thomas W. Harrison, 1878 to 1879. He's the Senate for Virginia, United States House of Representatives. And we also have a hedge fund billionaire, Paul Tudor Jones. So yeah, there's a few people that were involved in, and Virginia is another state that was part of the colonies, right? So it was an early formed state. That's why I'm kind of bringing those up, because of the people that are involved in these secret societies. A lot of them go all the way back to the 1775, 1778, era. So the next one we have is going to be the Seventh Society, and let's see if I have any prominent members here. So we have Frank Wisner is one of them, the head of Central Intelligence, Directorate Plans who was a Directorate of Plans during the 1950s, and he was a Central Intelligence Agency director. We have Edward Steinitz Jr., Secretary of State under President Roosevelt, Truman, and the first U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. So these are names you're probably not going to know about, but when you look at them and you kind of click on their resume, you're going to see, like this gentleman, for example, Edward Riley Steinitz Jr., he was from 1941 to 1943, Administrator of Office of Lend-Lease Administration. And then you have United States Secretary of State from 1943 to 1944. And then you have from 1944 to 1945, the 48th United States Secretary of State. And then you have from 1946 to 1947, United States Ambassador of United Nations. Okay, so you see the resumes that some of these gentlemen have, right? And then Frank Wisner, I'll click on him. He was the CIA director. He's the one that I talked about earlier. I have studied him a little bit. I don't remember the stuff that I found out about him. There was a lot of stuff. I remember his picture here when I look at it. But yeah, very interesting stuff here. So, and then who else do we have? We got Frank Hertford. He's the 5th president of West Virginia. But that's of the college. We don't need to know that. So, all right. So there's a few other secret societies I'll name that you guys can dig deeper on if you guys want to. We have the Seventh Society, which I just went over. We have the Z Society, which is another one you guys can look into. This secret society has people like Edgar Allan Poe, who's the author of The Raven. You guys know who he is. Woodrow Wilson, the 28th president of the United States. We have Hugh Scott, United States Representative, Senator from Pennsylvania. We have Colgate W. Darden, which is a governor of Virginia. We have Governor of Virginia, James Gilmore III. We have Roxanne Gilmore, First Lady of Virginia. We have Miss America, Deirdre Downs. She was also part of the Z Society, which is a female, which is interesting.
First female, yeah.
But she became Miss America, right? So I wonder how she did that. Maybe she had some connections. I don't know. So, all right. So we have that. And then go ahead if you have any.
So I just asked ChatGPT, give me the numbers of all the U.S. presidents that were born on the East or on the West Coast. So 91% of all U.S. presidents were born in the East. All the colleges in the East, everything, all the decisions are being made basically not even just on the East. northeast.
Yes.
Connecticut, Massachusetts, New
Yes.
York,
Exactly all the places that I've been naming. Yeah.
not even
Where those high
Pennsylvania.
schools are located. All
Yes.
those high schools are located there. Massachusetts, all that. That's all right there. Yeah.
And this is called the democracy
Yeah.
because all the candidates are from that part. Guys,
What's going on, right?
what's going on?
And even
How about who represents California?
what's our vice president? What is her name? I'm sorry.
Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris. She was also part of a sorority that has a major amount of people I have it pulled up, but yeah, just to let you know, she was part of, even though she was the governor of California, I think she was, or senator or something from California, right? She was a senator from California.
DA.
Something like that. Oh, DA. Sorry,
She was
DA.
DA.
Okay. She was also part of a sorority that was like, it's a secret society where like the owner of the WNBA and all these different people were involved in as well, right? So if you do get somebody from the West Coast, they're still involved in the secret societies and stuff that we're talking about. So,
And she was amazing.
what's that?
She was amazing.
She's
Best of the
another one.
best.
Yeah, one of the best.
Cream of the crop.
So, all right. So we have another one is called the IMP Society. That's at University of Virginia. You guys can look into that. It was formed in 1903. Notable members, we have Rondé Barber, who's a professional football player. Tiki Barber, professional football player. Joe Harris, professional basketball player. Ralph Sampson, professional basketball player. A long-distance swimmer, Frank Crippen is his name. James Rogers McConnell, who's a pilot. And what is it? He's actually it says Guzat Berglund's statue of aviator. I don't know what that means. So, all right. So we have that. So that's interesting because Rondé Barber and Tiki Barber both became professional football players and they were part of this IMP society. I see that a lot. I see that where I see Olympians and professional athletes were part of these secret societies and then they end up getting chosen for the professional teams, right?
Yeah, but at least they have to have talent.
They have to have talent, yes.
At
But
least.
at the same time,
You
you'll
can-
see some people that you feel like has all the talent and they get picked in like the third round as opposed to someone that you didn't think was going to get picked in the first that do get picked in the first. Not saying it has anything to do with their secret society, but it could though. So
So you want to tell me that Bronny James is as good as a player, so he got into the Lakers?
LeBron James was actually from high school, so he
Yeah,
went
but his
straight
son,
oh,
Bronny.
his son. Oh yeah.
Lakers, like
Yeah, I
top
know.
3 NBA teams of all time.
Yeah.
Celtics, I want to say. Lakers and what?
In basketball, the Bulls, Lakers, and I would say the Bulls, Lakers.
Just because of Jordan, but Lakers,
Yeah.
how many eras?
Yeah, I know the Lakers. Yeah, a lot for sure.
Celtics as well.
So I wanted to pull up one that's close to home, right? We're in LA, right? And
Please represent at least.
USC. All right, we have USC, Skull and Dagger Society. All right, so USC has the Skull and Dagger Society. Very interesting thing that I found here. We have Neil Armstrong, who supposedly landed on the moon, right? Neil Aiden Armstrong.
Just such a conspiracy theorist.
American astronaut and aeronautical engineer, right? We have him. And then we also have, who else do we have? We have the creator of Star Wars, also part of that secret society, George Lucas, right? So he's a billionaire. He's like 4.2 billion.
The
Right?
guy's
He's a
rich.
billionaire, right? So we have him. So it's kind of crazy that we have an astronaut and we also have the creator of space, George
Okay.
Lucas, in the same secret society. We have Will Ferrell, who's another prominent actor that it was part of this secret society at USC. We have Reggie Bush, who became a professional football player. We have Matt Barkley, who became a professional football player. We also have Rick Caruso. He is an American billionaire businessman, the founder and CEO of real estate company Caruso. He's also a chairman of the board of trustees at University of Southern California.
He was running for governor.
Yeah. He was, Caruso was previously the president of Los Angeles Police Commission, member of the Board of Water Power Commission, and was a runner-up to Karen Bass for the mayor election for 2022 for Los Angeles. Yeah, that's
Not the
right.
governor, but the LA mayor.
Yeah, so we have Anthony Davis, pro football player. Will Ferrell, I already talked about. Pat Hayden, he was an American professional football player and college administrator, athletic director for the University of Southern California. Larson Jensen is an Olympic medalist. Keyshawn Johnson is another one. He's a former football player. We have Herb Klein, who's best known for the United States. He was best known as United States President Richard Nixon, Executive Branch Communication Director. Klein also served as a press secretary for 3 of Nixon's companies, editor for Copley newspaper in San Diego before his time in the White House. We have Paul Krekorian. He's a American politician who represented the 2nd District of Los Angeles City Council, member of the Democratic Party, served as the president of the Los Angeles City Council from October 18th, 2022 to 2024, previously a member of the California State Assembly, representing the 43 Assembly District, and he's also a first Armenian American to be elected to the office of City of Los Angeles. And then we have George Lucas, I already spoke about earlier, American filmmaker, philanthropist. He created Star Wars, Indiana Jones franchise and founded Lucasfilm, LucasArts Industrial Light and Magic. He served as a chairman before selling it to Walt Disney Company, nominated for 4 Academy Awards. You guys already kind of know about him. We have Kenneth Norris, who's Ken Norris is a professional football player. He's also part of this. We have George Walton Lucas Jr., American filmmaker, philanthropist. He actually, sorry, I already went over that. I apologize. My notes went down one. Apologize for that. We have William Sharman, professional basketball player and coach. Brad Thor, he's an American writer who wrote The Lions of Lucerne, The First Commandment, The Last Patriot, which The Last Patriot became obviously a box office hit. We have Camille Vasquez, an American attorney, representing actor Johnny Depp in the defamation case he brought against his wife Amber Heard, which is like big. People know about that. John Wayne. You guys know John Wayne. Everybody knows John Wayne. He was also part of the secret society. John Wayne, his real name is Marion Robert Morrison, known professionally as John Wayne, is an American actor nicknamed the Duke. He became a popular icon through his starring roles in films, which were produced for Hollywood Golden Age. I just want to give you guys a little backstory of the people. We have Jesse Williams, Olympian. Jesse Williams, American high jumper and a 2011 world champion, okay? Does he have talent? Yes. Not saying he doesn't have talent, but he was part of this secret society, so I believe you get pushed up to the top, right? There's a lot of people that I think have talent that are actors and talent that are rappers that don't get pushed to the top. There's a reason people get pushed to the top, right? Last one we have is Jin Dan Wang, who's a Chinese-born American architect based out of Los Angeles. So yeah, that's what we have for that one. That's in USC. I brought that up only because we're here in LA, and I at least wanted to show some love to our LA secret societies as well, right? So, all right, last but not least, this is going to be my page 8 of my notes. We're going to have the Oxford and Cambridge University secret societies, okay? And these are big, right? Before I do this, though, is there anything you want to ask me about anything I've gone over so far?
No, let's go to Great Britain.
Great Britain. So Oxford is the first one we're going to go with, okay? So the secret society that they have is called the Bowling Dun Club. Former members include 2 kings of the United States of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. We have King Edward the
Not the United
Seventh
States, United Kingdom.
and King, what's up?
You said United States.
Sorry, United Kingdom of Great Britain. I see United States.
No kings here, please.
United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It's going to be King Edward the Seventh and King Edward the Eighth, okay? 3 prime ministers. We have David Cameron, Archibald Primrose, the 5th Earl of Rosenberry, Boris Johnson, and 2 chancellors of the Equerry, which is going to be George Osborne and Lord Randolph Churchill, okay? Other royalty, we have Frederick the 7th of Denmark. We have King Edward the 7th, the United Kingdom of Great Britain of Ireland from 1841 to 1910. We have Prince Leopold, Duke of Albany. We have Rama the 4th, King of Siam. Prince Paul of Yugoslavia from 1893 to 1976. We have also, I talked about earlier, Edward the Eighth of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and the British Dominion beyond the seas. And then we have King Frederick I think that's the 11th of Denmark from 1889 to 1972. And then we have nobility, okay? So we have these people, obviously we are in America, okay? So we're probably not going to know these names, but I'm going to name them off, just a few of them, just so that you guys can go and dig deeper if you want to. So we have Charles Douglas Home, the 12th Earl of Home, Lord Lieutenant of Lancashire from 1890 to 1915, Lord Lieutenant of Berkshire. So that one guy has been all those positions. Henry Chaplin, the 1st Viscount of Chaplin from 1840 to 1923. We have Archibald Primrose, the 5th Earl of Rosenberry, Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Walter Long, 1st Viscount Long. A whole list of people. Okay, we got Prince Felix Yusenboff. We have Prince Sergei Obelinsky. And let's see if we have anything else that people would kind of know. So bottom line, a bunch of nobility here, okay? So this is a very elite secret society that's in Oxford. Okay, so to have King Edward the Seventh and the King Edward the Eighth to both go to the secret society, I think it's prominent, and also all this nobility. And these are just the list of people that we get to see. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is at Cambridge University, and it's called the Pitt Club, the University Pitt Club, properly referred to as the Pitt Club, the UPC, or merely the club. As the private members of the club, a university, it's male only, omitted, and in 2017 they allowed women to come in. And it's actually located on Jesus Lane. I think that's really interesting. And some of the notable members is going to be King Edward the Seventh, which we talked about. Also, King Charles the Third, which is the one that is ruling right now. King Charles from the King Charles right now. We have Prince Frederick from Duleep Singh, which is the Sikh Empire. We have King George the Fifth of the United Kingdom of Great Britain.
He was the father of Elizabeth.
Yeah, and he was the king from 1865 to 1936. We have Prince Albert Vicar, the Duke of Clarence and Avondale from 1864 to 1892. There's a whole list of people in academics, politicians. We have a bunch of viscounts and dukes and earls and things probably in America we wouldn't really know, but if you guys want to look it up, just kind of look into them. One of them, we have George Smith, the 7th Viscount Strangford, a British conservative politician from 1818 all the way to 1857. So he was actually for a long time. He served briefly under Secretary of State of Foreign Affairs, and he was the president of the Pitt Club. Okay, so John Manners, 7th Duke of Rutland, is an English statesman, Postmaster General, Chancellor of Duchy Lancaster, a poet. And there's a ton of different people you guys can look into. Mainly, I brought this up because of the nobility and also from the kings, right? And then there's a few actors on the list as well. We have John Cleese, a comic actor and co-founder of Monty Python. You guys know who that is. That show is big. Alexander Armstrong, best known for his half of the comedy duo of Armstrong and Miller, host of BBC TV game show. We have Tom Middleton, several awards, including a Golden Globe Award, Lawrence Oliver Award. We have Eddie Redmayne, Academy Award for Best Actor in 2015. We have journalists and authors. We have E.F. Benson, novelist, biographer, archaeologist, and short story writer. We have George Linton, a British teacher in literature, our Lydier. And then we have television host David Frost, media personality, comedian, and writer, known for his interviews with Richard Nixon. A bunch of different journalists and authors, okay? We have clerics as well, clergymen from the Church of England. We have George Thomas Orlando Bridgman, a Church of England clergyman in Antioch. Now, I want to let people know about that. We also have Anglican priest and, from the Church of England. So these people have made an oath in a secret society, the Pitt Club, and they're out there serving the Church of England. We talked about it earlier.
The Bible, it says,
do not. Yeah.
Yes.
Do not. And these people have done it, So athletes, we have people that, we're probably not going to know people that are popular in cricket, but we have a amateur cricket, Francis Grimson. We have English rower, John Goldie. We don't really know that too much about that in America, but I know this will probably go maybe worldwide, so maybe I'll just bring him up. We have Charles Gurdon, English rower and rugby union forward, captain of England international side. We have Kyston Studd, who's a British cricketer, businessman, and Lord Mayor of London. We have Martin Hawke, who's the 7th Baron Hawke, 1960 to 1938, international cricketer, president of the Cricket Club. And there's a ton of different people on this list, okay? So you guys can look through it, and if you guys want to study it, but that's kind of my show in a nutshell. Last but not least, the last thing I want you guys to study and look into, which I didn't get to do last night, I just looked at it and went, whoa. It's there's a school out there that's a sect of Harvard. It's called the John F. Kennedy School of Government, okay? And I want to kind of just go over this really quick before we end the show, because there's a lot of people that ended up going to this school, and this is not about secret societies here. This is just about them actually attending, and a lot of people in government, notable alumni. One person we have Felipe Calderon. He's the former president of Mexico. We have Miguel de la Madrid, former president of Mexico. We have Carlos Solis de Gatry. He's a former president of Mexico. We have That's three. Tashkilin El Gajori, former president and prime minister of Mongolia. These names I'm not going to pronounce. I'll butcher them, but I'm just going to try, okay? Levsa Zian Oyen Ordine, who's a former prime minister of Mongolia. We have Adi Gas, who's a former prime minister of Somalia. We have John Hagelem, former president of Federated of Micronesia.
Micronesia.
We have Lee Haijin Long, former prime minister of Singapore. We have Daniel Noboa, former president of Ecuador. We have Tharman, I can't even say the last name. It's San Mu Gataran, former president of Singapore. We have Jose Marie Figueres Olson, former president of Costa Rica and also former World Economic Forum CEO. These are all the same. This is in Harvard. This is a school that's a sect of Harvard.
When was it established?
This one was established. Let's see what it says. Hold on. This one was established. Let's see what it says. Harvard School, Master Degrees, Public. This is...
What was the name? John
Affairs, Economics. I don't know when this one was established. I have to look it up.
What's the name? John F. Kennedy's...
It's John F. Kennedy School of Government, commonly referred to as Harvard Kennedy School. It's a school of policy of Harvard University, a private university in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right?
Was established in 1936.
There we go. Perfect.
In less than 100 years. How many presidents?
9 years ago. I mean, dude, I'm not...
3 Mexican presidents?
Yeah, I'm not even done, dude. There's so many people on this list. It's crazy. Okay, let's see. We have Moy Sandu, current president and former prime minister of Moldova. We have Juan Manuel Santos, former president of Colombia, Nobel Prize winner. We have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former president of Libya and Nobel Prize winner. We have Frederick Sume, who's a prime minister of Tanzania. We have our former prime minister of Tanzania. We have Taisir Tobgay, who's a former prime minister and current leader of People Democratic Party in Bhutan. We have the former prime minister of Canada, Pierre Trudeau, which is Justin Trudeau, right? We have Donald...
No, his father.
Oh, that's his father. That's in 1945. That's his father. We have Donald Tsang, who's a chief executive of Hong Kong. We have Morgan Taizagori, who's the prime minister of Zimbabwe. We have Eduardo Rodriguez Veltris, who's the former president of Bolivia. We have Jamal Mahal Witt, who's the former president of Ecuador. And then Lawrence Wong, who's the prime minister of Singapore. And there's a whole ton of different people. You can keep going down the list that are U.S. ambassadors. We have diplomats. We have the Maritime Secretary of Pakistan. There's a ton of different people on this list that are notable members. Okay, so
brother, this is the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's why I saved it for last. The other one, the Black Nobility, I love that, but this one is huge. Yeah,
just by attending the school,
yes.
Not even being a member of a secret society of that school.
Yeah. This school, there's no notable secret societies attached to it, but I believe it is the secret society that's attached to Harvard, the big one. You know, everybody that goes here. Let's see if we have elected federal officials. We'll talk about the ones just in the United States. We have Doug Batur, former U.S. Congressman for Nebraska, 1st Congressional District. We have Brandon Doyle, U.S. Congressman of Pennsylvania, 2nd Congressional District. We have Catherine Clark, U.S. Representative of Massachusetts, 5th Congressional District. We have Jerry Colonial, which is our Jerry Connolly, who is the former U.S. Congress, Virginia 11th District. We have Dan Crenshaw, who's a big one. Everyone talks about U.S. Congressman from Texas, 2nd Congressional District, the one that has the eye patch. That was in the United States military. John Fetterman, U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania and Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. Alan Grayson, former U.S. Congressman, Florida from 8th Congressional District. Catherine Harris, former 13th Congressional District and Secretary of State of Florida. Brian Higgins, he's the U.S. Congressman from 26th Congressional District. Stephen Horn, former U.S. Congress, California 38th Congressional District. I could keep naming them. All these people they're all part of the U.S. They're all part of the Senate. They're all part of the U.S. Congressional District. They're all House of Representatives. They're all just big, and these are elected officials. The elected state officials, we also have those. We have royalty. We have Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Brabant, heir apparent Belgian throne after her father Felipe of Belgium. Academia, I don't really want to go over that. We have business. We have former president of the National League. What is that? The National League. former president of the National League. I don't know what that is. That's Leonard S. Coleman Jr. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. We have media as well on here. We have military. We have nonprofit organization leaders. We have spies. We have Donald Heathfield, KGB and SVR operative until his disclosure to the United States in 2010. Went there.
KGB?
KGB, yeah. Donald Heathfield, real name Andrei Burskov. So Donald Heathfield is what he went to the school under. I guess they found out he was a spy. KGB and SVR operative.
Okay.
So very interesting stuff, man. As far as in the military, you guys can look it up. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. You know, there's generals, U.S. Air Force major generals, the whole bunch of them, astronauts, stuff like that in here. So,
Hey, muchachos from the Mexico, guys, listen to me. From 1988 to 1994, there was a president that attended that school. From 94 to 2000, there was a president that attended the school. Then from 2006 to 2012, there was a president that attended the same school. What are the chances?
what are the odds? Yeah. Now, to end it all up, you know, like in conclusion, I think that there's like the NFL has like they get the best of the best to go to college, and they get to choose the best of the best to become professional football players. So I believe the secret societies that are in college are like the best of the best, the cream of the crop from these bloodlines, and and that's why they get tapped, they get chosen. So the Illuminati or whoever the shadow government is, they get to pick these different people from these secret societies and put them into government places. I talked about earlier that I could probably track 90% of the people back to some type of secret society or some kind of bloodline, right? 10%, even if they got elected, it doesn't matter if there's 90% of them are all with one agenda, right? If the 10% are good and can fool us that they're really working for us, that's what they want. Because it's all about having a better than 50% vote when it comes to government in the United States, not in other governments. But we see that there's kings, there's queens, there's royalty, there's royalty that actually go to Harvard that are from other countries. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that from Mexico, from Belgium, from Zimbabwe, all these different places that are coming to that elite school, right? It's very interesting, man. Fun to talk about.
I just wonder whether this is a thing only for the Northern America, or this is the thing, let's say, in Russia, China, India.
I'm sure that
let's say in Australia.
It's what I would have to do. See, I know about Oxford and I know about Cambridge because those are elite like schools. But I guarantee that if I searched like South Africa, there was an elite school that Elon Musk went to in South Africa, right? I don't know if I could track him back to a secret society there, but it's a little harder probably to study that for me, because North America is easier for me to study because I know these colleges, I know where the elite colleges are. But I'm sure when people know, like from where you're from, or when for certain places you probably know these elite schools, look into it and you'll find that there's probably some connections for sure.
What's the difference between a secret society and fraternity or sorority?
Fraternity is the notable members are going to be known, like they're not like hiding anything, who the notable members are. And I think fraternity is more on a level of like, you're trying to get into the fraternity, which you get chosen as well. And you have parties and it's more of like the party scene, and maybe more for getting to know people so you can get, better jobs, stuff like that. I think the secret societies are like, you already been chosen for positions, and you're gonna end up becoming in government. You're gonna be chosen for these positions.
But can anyone enroll into a secret society?
No, they have to be tapped, and it has to be like for Skull and Bones. It's 15 seniors that get tapped, and tapped means that they're basically the junior people that the seniors are gonna tap the juniors for the next year, so they're gonna always do that. So sorry, I'm getting a phone call here. Let me put that to voicemail. So you're gonna see that. They get tapped, so they get chosen. And you're going to see that obviously some people that have been secret society, Skull and Bonesmen before, or Wolf Society, they're going to end up getting tapped, and they're going to end up being put in there, their sons or whatever.
So your kids are never going to be members of secret society? No chance.
No.
Even if they wanted to.
My kids, I hope not, but yeah, I don't believe so. No, I think you have to be part of a bloodline, or you have to be chosen, or rich family, elite. Like if you talk about the high schools that I was mentioning, it's $57,000 a year just to go to those high schools, and that's how much they cost.
But if let's say you're an athlete, you can get the scholarship.
Yeah, you could. And you see that. You see like Reggie Bush and certain people that do end up in the secret society, but Reggie Bush ended up marrying a Kardashian almost, right? She was dating a Kardashian. So
I'm sorry, I'm not following this queen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about actors? Because those are financiers, government officials,
You saw
politicians.
Jack Lemmon, you saw
Just a
Humphrey
few of them.
Bogart, you see, yeah, there's a few here and there. And so now I don't know. There's some actors that they have a family that have been actors and then they end up getting chosen for that. So, but I do see that there's other secret societies that I'm not going over on this show that I could track a lot of the actors back to, like Matt Damon. We talked about, I'm not saying I could track every actor because there's secret societies that in college that don't release their notable members or their notable alumni.
Okay, let's say, what about the youngsters? Let's say Silicon Valley, right? So Zuckerberg, he's not from the Silicon Valley.
He
but
went to Harvard.
Here's
Right?
Harvard, right?
Yeah, and he went to those 8 schools that I talked about, the preparatory schools. He went to that, right? So we're connected there. They're gonna want to keep him not in a secret society because they don't want you to be able to look him up, right? So I don't think that they would have him in that. But he, yeah, interesting.
So let's say Google founders, right? Larry Page and Sergey Brin. There's no evidence that Google founders were members of traditional secret societies, but they have to be some kind of a members of something. There's no way that they just found this. Like in my garage, right? I did this there's no way.
And you can't look up a list of Jesuits either. You can't look up a list of Illuminati, right? They're not going to tell you like, well, we know that this guy's a notable Illuminati member. They're not going to do that. So I think that there's shadow government, shadow, secret societies we're not going to know about. There's also secret societies in college that don't release any of their notable alumni. So I'm not going to be able to tell. But what I do is I could take a person like randomly, like Reggie Bush. Like I was wondering, like, dang, I wonder if he was in a secret society. Who's the quarterback for Tennessee? Peyton Manning. That's another one. Like I looked that one up and I'm like, Peyton Manning, was he part of a secret society? Yeah, he ended up being a part of a secret society at Tennessee. All right. So that's a big guy. He became a Super Bowl, NFL player. And then another one that I looked into was the Gridiron Society is what they're called, the Gridiron Club. And they're actually in Georgia. And it says like all the way back to 1960. I can't remember where it is. All the way back from 1960 on that all the governors of Georgia were part of the Gridiron Club. So you see how they're just reigning in power the whole time, in Georgia. So
how is it a democracy?
I don't think it is. I think it's people are selected and not elected, right, for positions. And then the 2 people that they have, like, that are going to go against each other anyways, they already have them signing an oath or they're already sold their soul already. So it doesn't matter who wins. But I do believe they're selected anyways. I don't think our vote is going to 100% count anyways. You saw that kind of with some of the elections that we've seen lately. And then also the George Bush one, I think that was kind of sideways with Al Gore, George Bush, where Florida is where Jeb Bush was the governor, is where they were doing the recount. So it's very interesting.
So what do you do with having all this information? What do you do about it?
What do we do? What we do is we could dig deeper. It's good to expose evil, as Ephesians 5:11 says, and have no fruitful works with darkness, right? So it's just, my whole point is to make people aware so that if you're ever approached by like the Freemasons or secret societies, know that you're going to be pledging an oath to the secret society, and know that if you read some of Albert Pike's writings with the Freemasons, like that the one that's at the very, very tippity top is Lucifer, the light bearer. That's who's at the top. That's who their God is. They're God. They're lowercase God, I would say. Yeah. So you might be thinking that you're doing these good things like with the lower level Masons or whatever, and you're doing philanthropy or helping Boy Scouts, but when you get to the top levels, you're gonna find out that you're actually gonna be asked to, I believe, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, to become a 33-degree Mason or whatever. Like there's different levels to it, but it gets interesting, and we went over a lot today, I think. So
okay, so last 2 questions.
Yeah.
The first one is short. Do you think Freemasons, the Illuminatis, all those secret societies are evil?
Do I think they're evil? Yeah, I think they are. That's what I believe.
Why? What exactly did they do so we can call them bad people or evil organizations?
Well, I think that Albert Pike, who is like the grandfather or whatever the Freemasons, right? It's like somebody that they look up to. They actually have like a grave, or they have a statue of him. He lays it out. He says in his book that the light bearer that you're chasing after is Lucifer, right? So just knowing that,
That's it, yeah.
that's it. That's all I need to know. Now the Illuminati, the Jesuits, the Freemasons, as you're kind of studying them, the Jesuits, they say, I'm not 100% sure, they say if we're involved in a lot of assassinations, of poisoning this president, doing certain things. There's like a whole Jesuit timeline that I've seen on documentaries. Is it true? I don't know. Is Pepe Orsini, the Gray Pope, is he at the top of the Jesuits? I don't know. We're at the helm of what we can research, right? So there's just shadow governments. The government, I told you earlier, when last episode, when you were asking me like who wins the war, like they're all part of the same team, and I believe it's called the New World Order, right? I believe that they're all, even though they show us that President Trump is maybe having an issue with the president of Russia or president of China, I believe that behind closed door when they meet up, they're all good. You know, it's nothing like that. And even like the wars, the wars are happening to put money into the military industrial complex's pocket, and it's generating money, these wars, and I think America was like the military force of the Illuminati for a long time, and I think they kind of took a break, and then they had Russia step in and start doing the thing with Ukraine. So they're still generating money, right? And then you have China kind of having a little beef with Taiwan. Maybe they're going to have them do it. And then America's involved still by funneling taxpayer monies into these wars. So ultimately, if you dig deep, which I've researched, I think that the religious aspect of the Illuminati, where I think would be like the Vatican, I think that the war, the military hand of the Illuminati would be like the United States, and then the bank would be like the City of London. You know, that's what I've kind of studied. Am I right? I don't know. Could be. Maybe not. You know, I'm at the helm of research, but that's what I'm kind of seeing, and that's why you see that the obelisk, okay, the phallus is in Washington D.C. The Vatican has a phallus in the middle of the Vatican. In the City of London, they also have a phallus there. You have a phallus in Egypt, right? And these different places, right? So I'm not saying that makes them evil because they have that, but it is like
part of the
story of the phallus is a different god, right? It's going to be Osiris and Isis, and then he got his member cut off, and then she put them together, the 13 pieces, and that's what the phallus is. It's all about sun worship again, and it's all about different gods. It's not anything that is not pointing to, I believe, the one true God, you know, of the Bible, or anything that's not pointing towards the Bible. I believe different gods and stuff like that, I believe, is inherently evil. I believe that the fallen angels are playing these different roles of different gods, right? So when you see Ra, or you see Apollo, or you see Zeus, I believe Satan plays some of these roles because that's a good way for him to entice fallen angels to come down, right? As Isaiah 14, 11 through 16, we went over it, where it talks about him wanting to become like the Most High. How do you become like the Most High? Well, you create gods, right? And they're also worshipped. And I believe that they were visited, some of these, you know, like I'd say like Greek gods, Roman gods, they might have been visited at some time by these gods. That's probably why they worship them so much. And the visiting would be from a fallen angel, not from, you know, a real God, right? I think they're lowercase g gods. And if you go to Psalms 82, verse 1, it actually talks about God standing in the congregation of the gods, right? Which is really interesting, lowercase g gods, and speaking to them about how they're judging, how they're not judging rightly, right? And that he's going to take away the power from them. And I think what God did is when Jesus Christ came and he died on the earth, and he got the keys to heaven, the keys to earth, and the keys to hell, I think he took the power away from some of these angels that were reigning in these different areas and gave it to Jesus, right? And Jesus has the power now. So ultimately, we need to understand that Jesus is all powerful. God is all powerful, God the Father and the Holy Spirit, and that we're in a good position if you're Christian and you're saved, right? I always go back to the Bible, right? So I think that's what we need to understand. And these evil are going to work in the background. I believe fallen angels and the devil and the demons are all working with these shadow governments and stuff. And that's all happening. But we only uncover that stuff to uncover the evil, to let people that are Christian and not to join them, right? And to know, and they're educated about it, you know.
My people will fall from the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
This is basically knowledge.
I'm trying to give knowledge, but I'm not trying to boast up about any of the secret societies or tell people, hey, if you join these secret societies, you'll become this. That's not what the point is. The point is all these people are joining these secret societies and they're coming into power now. So there's a connection between that, you know, and they have to pledge an oath to do it. So when people say, oh, people sell their souls to become famous, well, this is actually kind of like proof that something is happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, you know?
So a friend of mine yesterday told me he was at the premiere of the new movie by Jordan Peele called Him. You know the movie?
I don't know the movie, but I've seen, it's like a horror movie, right?
It's a movie about, I didn't watch the movie yet, but it's a movie about the football player that basically sold his soul
Oh, there we go.
and
Okay.
to become famous.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people say that. They say, well, people sell their soul, but in the Bible, we have Jesus taken to the highest mountain. And what he says to him, if you want control of all these empires, which it can't be a temptation if he doesn't own the empires at that time, right? Then all you have to do is just bow down to me, right? Which means worship me. And Jesus obviously was quoting scripture back, Deuteronomy back to him. And that's what we see. So if you were somebody that was a rapper, up and coming rapper, and Satan took you up to the highest mountains and said, hey, you can have the mansions, you can have the Bugattis, you can have the women. All you have to do is just bow down to me. And also keep your music the same. Don't go to like gospel or anything like that. Just keep the music the same that you're doing, representing gangbanging, selling drugs, hooking up with women, partying at clubs, all this stuff, and then keep your music the same, and then you could become famous. I mean, it's definitely possible and probable for that to be happening, you know?
And do you think once you agree to that contract, you can break it?
That you can't break it?
You can't?
I think that you could, I don't know how the contract works, you know? If it's like a blasphemy of the Holy Spirit or taking the mark of the beast, then you can't break it. You're already done. Because if you take the mark of the beast, it says you're erased out of the book of life and you're thrown into the lake of fire when you die, right? So they could be getting tricked into that. But when it comes to witchcraft and sorcery, what those people say, that ones that got out of it, is that there's deals that you have to make with these demons for them to do certain things for you, right? So you're making deals with them. Now, when they get out of witchcraft, right, even though they made the deals with the demons, even Jesus says, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, right? So some of these people might not know what they're doing. They start getting into witchcraft, into Satanism. And I'm not saying they can never come back and they can't be forgiven for what they do, right? So that's why I don't know if you do sell your soul, which is just a term. It doesn't mean you're actually selling your soul. It just is a term for giving your soul over to Satan, so that, because what he does is he'll tell you, well, if you go to hell with me, you know, because I rule hell, supposedly is what he'll say, that then you could become a general in hell. So you'll be ruling, you know, over these armies or whatever. You know, there's certain temptations that he would give people. So, and that's more of the witchcraft and Satanist community. They say something like that, like that he would offer something like that. So I don't know if that's true either. It's just what people say. You know?
Do you think 70 virgins is the same thing?
With the Islam?
Yeah.
Is it the same thing?
Would you like 70 virgins?
No, I don't even.
None.
No, I
I wouldn't like
Especially when I
even
go to
one.
heaven, you're not even going to be thinking about having sex, because, you know, that it's not about that when you're in heaven, you know? So when they say that, I don't believe it. Jesus even says that angels aren't having sex in you know, like for reproduction.
Yeah, they don't
in
have
heaven.
Yeah.
They're worshiping the Lord, and it's totally different. But there's going to be like a new heaven, new earth, you know? It says it in the Bible in Revelation 22. So that is going to be where God is actually walking amongst us, right? So it's really interesting. So, but who knows how that's going to be? Yeah, look it up. New heaven, new earth. No sun, no moon, not needed. You know.
I remember that.
Yeah, and there's like a 1500 by 1500 that's going to come down, which is really interesting, because if it was a globe, how does that work? But if it's flat, it comes down and it's fine.
So it's in the Bible. It says God will create the new Jerusalem, right?
Yeah.
Streets of
New heaven, new earth. Yeah.
streets are full of gold and such.
Yes.
You know this thing, so I just fact checked it to be true if that was true. There's a historical and religious tradition that referred to Kyiv, which is the capital of Ukraine, as a kind of New Jerusalem.
Interesting.
They called the city as a New Jerusalem.
Well,
maybe everything that is going on right now in Ukraine, maybe this is some kind of a part of something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, that's
the New Jerusalem?
Yeah.
And how many Ashkenazi Jews are from Ukraine?
Yeah.
Lots of them, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them. The president of the Ukraine is basically Jewish.
Interesting. Yeah. That's
maybe
very
there is
interesting.
a
I haven't heard
connection.
that yet, but you have to send me that information. That way I can study it.
I had a guy on, he was born and raised in Ukraine, and he told me this stuff. I was like,
Wow.
oh, really? The New Jerusalem?
And
really?
the war's going on over there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, very interesting.
But think about Russia though too. Like a lot of Russia is Orthodox Christians, right?
Yes.
So we're told in America, like, oh, they're our enemy, you know. But are they our enemy for real? I mean, as a Christian, is that your enemy? No, that's not my enemy. But not. I'm not talking about the government.
I would say Orthodox are the same as Catholics. Lots
Very
of
similar.
traditions,
Very
lots
similar.
of traditions,
Yes.
unexplainable. You can't even think of what is the meaning behind all those things that they're doing in the Orthodox churches.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's the
It's very
same thing as
similar. Yeah,
Vatican.
you're right. They're very similar, and they also would pray through Mary and stuff that I
They're
wouldn't
praying
do.
to icons, basically
Idols. Yeah.
idols.
Yeah.
And during this war with Ukraine, there were priests, but in Orthodoxy in Russia that were blessing the rockets
Oh,
to fight the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Ukrainians are Orthodox as well, Christians.
yeah.
How blasphemous is that?
That is, yeah, and to even be blessing something like that is yeah, it's not
It
Christian.
has nothing to do with God
No,
and Jesus.
it's all a dog and pony show.
Correct.
If that makes sense, a dog and pony show for people to see and go, it's just basically to get one side. It's propaganda. If that makes sense.
100%.
To get the Orthodox people that are in Russia to go, oh, the priest is doing it. We should back up Russia. You know.
The holy war
Yeah.
against who? Against the Christians? Oh,
Against
really?
other Christians, right? Yeah.
And you know that the Ukrainians and Russians, 40% of Russians and Ukrainians have the same bloodline. They're cousins or something,
And they're fighting. Yeah.
and they're fighting.
Now you asked me about Islam, like about now. All my neighbors, like my whole neighborhood is all Palestinian, right?
Really?
I get to talk to, so I get to talk to them, and I do ask them questions. You know, like what, do you believe that the Israelis that are there right now are the true Israelites? And then they said, yeah. You know, and it gets interesting. But yeah, so that religion is they do believe that Jesus is coming back, right?
Correct.
Which is interesting. But they don't believe Jesus is God. They don't believe Jesus died on the cross. So there's a lot of things that they don't believe that in Christianity that would totally prevent them from being able to make it to heaven, right? You have to believe that Jesus died on the cross, and that, you know, there's a few things that you need to believe. Now, do you need to believe that Jesus is God to make it to heaven? I don't believe that. That's something that Trinitarians would say. They would say you have to believe that Jesus is God to make it to heaven. But the Bible, you have to interpret the Bible to get that out of the Bible, right? That Jesus is deity or that Jesus is God. But there's things that you do have to believe, which is 1 Corinthians 15, verses 1 through 4, which is the gospel that Jesus died on the cross, rose after 3 days. You would have to believe that, which they don't believe, you know? So there's things that would discount them from making it into heaven. Jesus is the way, the truth, the light. Even though they believe Jesus is a good
Prophet.
teacher,
Yes.
good prophet, but they believe that he got raptured up, right? That he never died, and that they replaced the body of Jesus that died on the cross. That they don't believe it was Jesus because they believe that God's son would never be crucified like that, you know. But they don't understand the meaning behind it, you know, of why the crucifixion would even have to happen, right? So, but they're
At least they don't believe that Jesus is boiling in excrements.
yeah,
hell.
exactly like the Talmud. Yeah. So, yeah, so it's really interesting. So we would think that the Jewish people are closer to the Christian, right? That's what a lot of people believe.
No.
But actually, the Muslims would have more of a connection to Christians than the Jews, right?
They recognize Jesus.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Which the mainstream people would never think, right?
But
At least they recognize it. But they say that, but people that are apologists, Christian apologists that go against Muslims, they would say different than probably what I would say right there. But I would say that they are closer than what a Jewish would be to Christianity.
Not Jewish, but Talmudic.
Talmudic, yeah. Like, how would I say? Yeah, like Talmudic Jews, right? And no offense to anybody that's Jewish. I'm not trying to say anything like that. I'm just trying to say that as far as from a belief perspective, I do believe that the God of the Old Testament, they worship, right? But if they don't believe that he had a son at all, and they see that Jesus the way he is, then we're far from the same beliefs, you know? If that makes sense.
They're still waiting for our Jesus.
Yeah.
For the Messiah
Still
to
waiting
come.
for the Messiah to come, yeah.
But I believe just people on top, they want us Christians fight against Muslims, Muslim fight against Jewish,
Yeah.
Jewish against Christians.
They want everyone fighting, yes, exactly. So yeah, it is, Phil. It was a good show though. Thank you, man.
Thank you for
Having me
coming.
again.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
Guys,
Thank you.
please follow Josh on Instagram, YouTube. All the links are going to be in the description below. Leave your comments below whether you liked the episode or not. And I believe we have to do a trilogy.
Yeah,
have
we
the
could do-
third part.
we can have a third one, and probably we could do something about Nephilim, something biblical. It's a little easier for me to tap into the biblical realm
Okay,
than,
that would be awesome.
than the conspiracy. Conspiracy is fun. This is to show you guys that I could do Christian and conspiracy, but I like the Bible. That's my favorite thing to go over. So yeah, we'll do that.
God bless you. God bless
bless you too.
all your big family.
Thank you.
Thank you.